Tonight would be the 8th head-to-head matchup. The Sixers have won 4 of the 7. They won 3 of 4 from the Quakes at the epicenter in their first series, and then Rancho came back and won 2 out of 3 over Inland Empire the last time they met. The Sixers winning yesterday. It was, I guess you'd call it winning ugly, but they wound up coming out on top of a wild game with the High Desert Mavericks here, 12-9. The Sixers collecting 19 hits, just one shy of their season high, but only 3 of those were extra base hits. So they had 16 singles. They wound up winning 2 out of 3 from the Mavericks, and for just the second time in 6 series this year, the Sixers winning a series when losing the opening game. So they are 30-20, currently lead the South Division by a half game over Lancaster. The Jethawks playing well. They've won 5 straight. The Lake Elsinore Storm finished a 3-game series in Rancho Cucamonga, and the Quakes wound up sweeping the Storm. They beat them 12-3 yesterday, so Lake Elsinore has lost 4 straight, and they are now 3.5 games behind Inland Empire. The Quakes were not playing well prior to this weekend series against Elsinore. They had finished a long road trip and did not fare well. They had lost 8 of their previous 9. Bobby Meacham's team 23-26. They still have an outside shot, and especially considering they do have the 7 games left with the first-place Sixers, if the Quakes can turn it on, they could sneak back into the race. Right now, they would be 6.5 games out. They are 10-16 on the road this year. The Sixers with the win here last night against High Desert, a very impressive 17-4 here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. This will be the probably the smallest crowd we will have for this series. Memorial Day, and a lot of people just barely getting home from wherever they went this weekend, and so not expecting a whole lot of people out here tonight. It was certainly a toasty day today, and it's still a bit on the warm side for those of you who listen in from out of the area on the internet. Right now, 92 degrees at 6 o'clock. The lineup cards have been exchanged. We're going to pause for a moment. When we come back, Wags will run down the starting lineup and tell you about tonight's starters for the first game of the 4-game series. That's coming up in a moment.
Fans, you can see some of baseball's brightest and best future stars up close and personal at this year's California League versus Carolina League All-Star Game, June 29th at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. There will be a pregame skills competition that will include the always popular Home Run Derby. Tickets for this year's All-Star Game are available now. The 66ers can provide you with more information at 909-888-9922 or on the web at ie66ers.com.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street. Variety may be the spice of life, but when it comes to kicking it up a notch, there's only one place that's really turning up the heat, Dairy Queen, and it's only getting hotter with the spicy new flamethrower burger from DQ. It's a juicy all-beef double hamburger topped with pepper jack cheese, crispy jalapeno bacon, and spicy Tabasco-flavored mayo, and put the fire out with a nice cool blizzard treat on the side. For a limited time at participating DQ restaurants, the flamethrower burger from Dairy Queen. DQ something different.
Welcome back to Arrowhead Credit Union Park. We are about 6 minutes away from the first pitch between the 66ers and the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes here in the opener of a week 4-game series. 66ers and the Quakes. Let's run down the starting lineup for you. First for the Quakes, leading off and playing center field will be Reggie Willits. He had a 20-game road on-base streak that ended just a few days ago. Batting second will be the shortstop, Eric Ibar. He right now is second in the league in batting average with a .354 average, first in stolen bases and hits. Hitting third and on pace to set all sorts of records this year, both for the Quakes and in the Cal League, is first baseman Michael Napoli. Napoli coming in, hitting .321. 15-game road hitting streak for him earlier on in the year. He had an 18-game hitting streak overall, longest in the California League this season. That ended on the last day of April. David Gates will bat out of the cleanup spot and play left field. Hitting behind him in the 5-hole will be the third baseman Greg Porter. Batting sixth, the DH Jared Abruzzo. He has split time at catcher with Ryan Buddy, who will be the backstop tonight and hit seventh. Batting eighth will be the second baseman Adam Papkovich, and hitting out of the 9-hole, the right fielder Rancel Melgarejo. They will face lefty ace Bobby Livingston for Inland Empire. Bobby with a 6-2 mark at 2.14 earned run average. Right now, he is fourth in the league in ERA, tied for first with those 6 wins, fifth in strikeouts with 58, and he has pitched more innings than any other Cal League hurler. However, he has lost his last 2 decisions, his only 2 losses of the year. His last outing was 5 days ago at the Diamond Lake Elsinore. Went just 5 innings in that one, gave up 5 earned runs, a season high for him, and 8 hits in there as well, a season high. Had 6 strikeouts compared with just 1 walk. That was his shortest outing since April the 18th of last year. The 66ers went on to lose that game by a final score of 5-3. Out of the 8 hits that Livingston surrendered, 5 of them were for extra bases. So we'll try to get back on the right track here today. An overall mark in his career of 27-14 with a 2.68 earned run average for Bobby Livingston. Starting lineup for Inland Empire will look like this. Juan Gonzalez is at short, Jesus Guzman at third, Gary Harris at center field, he'll bat third. John Nelson will bat cleanup, and he'll be out in left field. Peachy Ballette hitting fifth, and DHing. Batting sixth will be TJ Bond out in right field. Hitting seventh will be Matt Rogelstead, the second baseman. Batting eighth will be the first baseman, Matt Hagan, and hitting ninth and catching, Brian Lentz. They will face Makar Posey, making his first start tonight for the Quakes. We will be back in just a moment with more of the pregame show.
Quitting smoking isn't easy. It takes the average smoker several attempts to be successful. Quitting with the right support can make all the difference. With the support of products like Nicorette Gum, Nicoderm CQ Patch, and Commit Lozenge, you have a better chance of success. Nicorette, Nicoderm CQ, and Commit are safe, effective, and FDA approved to help you fight cravings, irritability, and restlessness while you quit. They've helped millions of Americans quit. You can too. Use as directed. Follow dosing schedule. Individual results may vary. Support program improves chances of success.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and the plate pulls the second with the double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York, a tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL OF FAME.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street.
Well, Bobby Livingston taking his warm-up, so we have a couple of minutes till things get started tonight. Told you the Quakes won last night. They beat Elsinore at the Epicenter 12-3. Daniel Davidson got the win. Mike Napoli with 4 RBIs last night for the Quakes, and of course we'll be seeing him shortly in the batting order. The Jethawks outlasting Stockton at home 12-10. Keith Watley got the win over Jose Garcia. Jason Bolger his 6th save. Carlos Quentin a home run, part of a 3-hit, 3 RBI night for the Jethawks. Joaquin Arias of Stockton had a home run, and he drove in 3. And in fact, I had the note here, Connor Jackson had 1 hit. It was his 10th home run. He scored 3, and he's at 3 home runs in his last 4 games for Lancaster. Modesto beat San Jose 4-2, so the A's now lead the North by 5 games over the Giants, who had won 4 straight until losing the last 2 of that athletic series. Chris Shank winning his 5th of the year. James Garcia, the losing pitcher. Brian Stavisky of Modesto, a couple of hits and a couple of runs in the victory. And Bakersfield beat Visalia 3-1. Mike Prochaska, his 5th win of the year. Brian Henderson the save. Bakersfield's Luis DePaula had 4 hits last night in the victory. So we are ready to go. Good to have you with us here on this Memorial Day Monday. Tomorrow night's game at 7:11, and then we have the morning game here on Wednesday. That will be an 11 a.m. start. Reggie Willits in the box, and the right-hander looks at a strike from Livingston to get things started. Willits hitting .254. Reggie with 3 home runs, 19 driven in. This would be the 3rd start for Livingston against the Quakes this year as Bobby misses inside to even the count 1 apiece. And looking down the lineup, Willits in those 2 previous games, 2 for 8 against Livingston with a double and a couple of strikeouts. Guzman up at 3rd on the grass and a hard ground ball to short, fielded by Gonzalez. Sidearms it over to Hagan at first for the out. So the leadoff man retired. And here comes a kid who will most certainly, barring a promotion, be playing in the All-Star game here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park in late June. Eric Ibar, a very exciting young player. Ibar considered the best defensive infielder in the Angel minor league system. And he hadn't been too shabby with the bat either. Hitting .354, 26 stolen bases this year. And he has the highest road average on the team. He takes outside, 1-0 the count. Ibar in his road games has hit .394. Not a power hitter, but a guy with his tools and playing a middle infield position, you're not necessarily looking for home runs as he fouls a pitch back. So the count 1 ball and a strike. Ibar rated among the top prospects in the Angels minor league system. And he's probably just a couple years away from getting there. Livingston gets one on the inside corner. Ibar turning in from it. So Bobby ahead 1-2. Livingston in that last start in Lake Elsinore going 5 innings. It was not only his shortest start this year among his 10. Next one to Ibar on the hand, swung on and missed. That was a very difficult pitch to hit. And, in fact, the home plate umpire, Jeremy Barb, just shook his head at Ibar, so I'm sure that Eric probably asked him if that was a strike, and I'm guessing that Barb, by shaking his head, said no, it wasn't. And it didn't look like it from up here. So that's out number 2, and here comes Mike Napoli. Mike Napoli is having some kind of year, and, again, he's a guy who will definitely be in the All-Star game unless he gets promoted. Napoli with 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in already. Takes one high to run the count 1-0. And he's done all that in 44 games. He had 2 home runs and 4 RBIs yesterday in the victory against Elsinore. Livingston with a fastball on the outside corner. And if Napoli were to stay in the Cal League all year, and if he hits all season the way he has been hitting, he is on pace to come close to some records. He takes a strike 1 and 2. He would currently be on pace to drive in 166 runs. The last time a Cal League player drove in 150 was more than 40 years ago. Mike goes with it, hits it into right field, and that's going to drop in front of T.J. Bond. So Napoli with a turn at first will hold on. And the Quakes have a 2-out hit against Livingston here in the top of the first inning. That'll bring up David Gates. There was a player in 1962, or rather 1963, named Jose Vidal, who drove in 162 runs. So he would have been the last Cal Leaguer to have 150 or more in a single year. Now David Gates coming up. You know, you look at this Rancho team, and they've got some pop. The Quakes near the top of the league in home runs this year, as Livingston's pitch to the right-hander Gates is inside, 1 ball and no strikes. The only team in the league that has hit more home runs than Rancho Cucamonga would be the Lancaster Jethawks. They have hit 67, and Rancho has hit 50. And then you look at the individual breakdown of the 50 home runs the Quakes have hit, as Livingston's pitch to Gates is low and inside, 2-0. David Gates and Mike Napoli have hit 27 of the 50. So those two alone have hit just over half of the Rancho home runs. The next closest on the team, you got Napoli with 15, Gates with 12. You got Ryan Buddy and Jared Abruzzo, who have each hit 5. Livingston's pitch inside corner for a strike. So 2-1 to Gates. Gates hit his 12th home run of the year yesterday, drove in 3. David against the Sixers this year, not too shabby. 8 for 25, including 2 home runs and 9 driven in. Outfield straight away, Livingston with 2 outs in the inning. Napoli held on at first, and the pitch home to Gates. Breaking ball lined over third. That's a base hit. We'll see if Napoli will go to third. Yes, he does. Gates headed to second base, and he'll have himself a stand-up 2-out double. So the 2 big boppers in the Rancho order trying to make some noise here in the first inning with 2 outs, a single followed by a double. And now the batter will be the third baseman, Greg Porter. Quakes overall a pretty decent hitting team. You would figure with 2 guys like Napoli and Gates in the middle of the order, they should be able to score some runs. Porter, a left-handed batter, and Livingston's pitch to him is outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Yesterday, the Quakes in that 12-3 win had 7 extra base hits. They had just 8 extra base hits in their 3 previous games. They have really been getting a lot of production of late from the top part of the order. Next one to Porter is swung on and lifted high into straightaway center. Gary Harris with the sunglasses on puts it away, one-handed catch to end the inning. So Greg Porter, who came in hitting .317, flies out. The Quakes get 2 hits, leave 2 runners, and at the end of a half inning, Rancho nothing, Inland Empire coming ahead.
Toyota of Redlands is pleased to once again be partnering with the California League champion 66ers. Located at 1139 West Redlands Boulevard, Toyota of Redlands has a line of new 2004 Toyota cars and trucks, as well as certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Toyota of Redlands is part of the local community just like you and believes in personal relationships, and they're open 7 days a week. More information is at 793-0300 or on the web at toyotaofredlands.com.
Are you serious about your career? ITT Technical Institute in San Bernardino offers technology and business education for today's workplace with associate and bachelor's degrees in 4 schools of study. ITT Tech has many different class schedules with hands-on learning and applied knowledge. Financial aid is also available for those who qualify. ITT Tech in San Bernardino is located on Briar Drive. More information on your new career is at 800-888-3801. ITT Tech and education for the future.
To make money, you have to take risks. Or do you?
It's not for the meek. It's not for the weak. If you can't handle it, you can't be there.
What if mathematics could beat the market?
We were able to build a portfolio that was essentially riskless.
The $1 Trillion Bet. Next time on Nova. Mind-altering TV.
Wednesday night at 8 on KZCR TV, Channel 24.
Left-hander Micah Posey making his California League debut up from the Midwest League at Cedar Rapids, where he had been perfect this year. A record of 6-0, the ace of the Colonels Ball Club. He was 6-0 with a .236 ERA down there. He pitched in 9 games, started 8. And in his last appearance on the 26th, he allowed just 1 run in 6 2/3 innings. He had 4 quality starts among his 8. Won his first 3 starts, and then had a couple of no decisions, then won 2 in a row, then a no decision, then a win. Juan Gonzalez, first pitch swinging, hits it in the air down the right field line. Racing over and getting to it is Ranzo Melgarejo. 1 out in the first inning for Jesus Guzman. The Sixers in the last 2 games of that series against the High Desert Mavericks hit .461 and scored 20 runs. That after scoring 8 runs and hitting .217 in their previous 5 games. And Guzman, certainly a guy who helped lead the charge yesterday as he takes inside from Posey 1-0. Guzman, a 3-hit game. He now has 4 straight multiple-hit games. The next pitch on the way is a fastball in there for a strike. And the count 1-1. Guzman hitting .336. You know, he is awfully close to having enough plate appearances to qualify among the league batting leaders. It'll probably be a couple of more games yet. Pitch is outside 2-1. Just a few plate appearances shy. If he were to qualify, his current average would be the third highest in the league. Frank Colamarino of Modesto, .355. Rancho's Eric Ibar, .354. And then Guzman would be in there as he looks at a strike to even the count 2-2. The guy who Darren Brown said they would have been perfectly happy had Guzman come here and hit about .250. Well, sorry, Darren, he's about 80 points higher than that. Outfield straight away with no score in the first inning. Posey's pitch way inside, so the count to Guzman now 3-2. The Sixers in the last two games of that Mavericks series increased their team batting average by 8 points. That's a pretty big jump for an entire team in 2 days. Next one is low, so Guzman, who looked at it, started to go for it, and then held up, draws the walk. I think the one thing with Guzman that has really been impressive, more so than his batting average, has been his eye at the plate. You know, you don't see very many 19-year-old kids at this level to begin with, and the few that you do see who are pushed to the California League are usually very free swingers, don't have a very good idea of the strike zone. And then Guzman, a Latin kid, and they are known for swinging the bat and not taking walks, but that would be his 18th walk in 30 games. Gary Harris rips the first one into right center field, going back Melgarejo, and that's off the fence. Rancho plays the carom, and they will hold Guzman at third on a double by Gary Harris. Well, the Quakes got runners to second and third in the first inning, but they did it with 2 outs. The Sixers with runners at second and third, 1 out here in the first inning, and John Nelson, who knocked in 4 runs in the last 2 games of that series with the Mavericks coming up. Obviously, with the Sixers hitting well and scoring runs the last 2 of the Mavericks series, it goes without saying they did a much better job in their clutch hitting than they had over the past week. Posey's pitch to Nelly is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The 2 games, Saturday and Sunday, they hit .415 with runners on base and just over .350 with runners in scoring position. The previous 5 games, they hit under .160 when they had runners aboard. Nelson hits a little bouncer back to Posey, and he's going to go to first base. Harris going back to second, and he will reach safely. Boy, that was almost a disaster for Inland Empire. Guzman started down the line. Gary Harris was about 3/4 of the way to third. And Posey decided to go to first base and get Nelson. By the time they threw down to second, and it wasn't a great throw, Gary Harris was able to scamper back. So 2 outs for Peachy Ballett. Peachy DHing today. He started at first the last 2 days. The guy he is facing, Micah Posey, was drafted by the Angels out of Tallahassee Community College, and that is the same school that Peachy attended prior to going to Florida State. They were not teammates, though. Peachy a little bit older. And the first pitch to him is up and in, 1 ball and no strikes. Peachy played at Tallahassee Community College in 98 and 99. And you know who else played there for 1 year? If you turn the clock back, a former San Bernardino second baseman, Mike Metcalf, who was the second baseman here in 97, had a solid year. He played at Tallahassee in 92. Next pitch on the way to Ballett. Ground ball up the middle into center field. So Guzman scores. Here comes Harris. Peachy knocks in 2, and the Sixers take an early lead in the first inning. Now, Ballett drives in a couple of runs with a big 2-out hit. That would be his 15th and 16th RBIs of the year. Would be his first RBIs against the Quakes. So now T.J. Bond getting a chance to hit with a runner on base. Ballett will be held on first, and Posey with a fastball on the inside corner. Micah, not an overpowering pitcher, at least the scouting report we have heard, a fastball, slider, and changeup. really did well in the Midwest League in his year and a half there. Bond takes on the outside corner, TJ behind 0-2. TJ with 2 hits last night, including a double, drove in 2, scored 2, and even had a steal. So he was 4 for 9 with 3 RBIs in the last 2 of the Mavericks series. He has knocked in 29, hitting .305. Posey from the stretch, and Bond out in front of the next pitch, foul tips it. So he stays alive. The count is 0-2. Posey is a big left-hander, 6'5", 220, born and raised in Tallahassee. He was a 15th round draft pick of the Angels 3 years ago. When they drafted him, Posey had a partial tear in his left rotator cuff. The Angels actually knew about it. Bond hits a fly ball to center. That'll send Willich back almost to the track, but Reggie there to get it. So the Sixers retired, but they wind up getting 2 runs here in the first inning, thanks to an RBI single, a 2 RBI single by Peachy Ballette. At the end of 1, Inland Empire 2, Quakes nothing.
It was another time and another place in American life. It was radio. This is Ed Rothhart, inviting you to join me this week as I Remember Radio as we present the bright sounds of Broadway on the Manhattan Merry-Go-Round, with songs sung so clearly you can hear every word. That's the Manhattan Merry-Go-Round, Saturday afternoon at 2, and then again Sunday morning at 5, here on KBCR, San Bernardino, Riverside, as I Remember Radio.
From the day they were born, you wanted your child to have the very best. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital shares that same commitment, providing your child with the most advanced care available. Hospitals can be scary. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital provides a cheerful environment for more than 100,000 children each year, and they're the only children's hospital in the Inland Empire. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital. Information is at 800-825-KIDS.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries is a proud supporter of 66ers baseball. Lazy Boy has locations in San Bernardino, Riverside, Hemet, and Ontario Mills. Lazy Boy has been a part of America's home since the late 1920s. Lazy Boy's furniture stands the test of time thanks to quality materials, extensive engineering, and rigorous testing. They're committed to building only the quality furniture and back every piece with their word. Lazy Boy. They make rooms that make homes.
You're after 1 inning, ladies and gentlemen.
Inland Empire up on Rancho 2-0 at the end of 1. Jared Abruzzo, a switch hitter, will lead off against Bobby Livingston in the second, followed by catcher Ryan Buddy and second baseman Adam Pavkovich. Abruzzo did not face Livingston in either of Bobby's 2 starts against Rancho at the Epicenter. First one to him is high, 1 ball and no strikes. Jared had been on the disabled list for a while at the start of the year with a bad hamstring. Missed the last 2 weeks of April. He's out in front of one and pops it up on the left side of the infield. It will be Gonzalez who calls off Guzman. One away in the second for Ryan Buddy. By the way, we are told, and this is something you might want to mark down, if you're thinking about maybe coming out tomorrow, or if you weren't planning on it, you might want to now. Tim Salmon is supposed to begin a rehabilitation assignment with the Quakes tomorrow. We're not sure how many games he is supposed to be with the team. Ryan Buddy looks at a strike, 0-1 to the right-hand hitting catcher. Buddy hitting .245 with 5 home runs and 14 driven in. So Tim Salmon, and you might remember a couple of weeks ago, as Livingston misses high 1-1, Salmon, beginning a rehab assignment with the Quakes, got a couple of at-bats, and then his knee really started to act up, so he pulled himself out of the lineup, and the rehab stint was cut short. The pitch on the way is low, 2-1. I don't know if he would play in the morning game here on Wednesday, but I would assume that he'll be here tomorrow, and if not Wednesday, then definitely Thursday night. Buddy takes a swing at one up around the letters and fouls it back out of play, 2-2. Ryan was 0 for 4 yesterday. He is 4 for 17 against Inland Empire this year, 1 for 6 against Bobby Livingston with a double. Bobby trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Outfield toward right, and the next one is low. So he's now 3-2. Prior to his last start, when he lasted 5 innings against the Storm, the last time that Livingston pitched 5 innings or fewer in a start was almost at the beginning of last year. Buddy hits a liner into left field, but it hangs up in the air for John Nelson. Nelly in to get it for out number 2. The 18th of April last year, in a game against Beloit, that is a Milwaukee affiliate, Livingston went 4 innings that day, gave up 9 runs, 5 earned. He had gone at least 6 innings in every start for the Sixers this year until last time out. In his last start against the Quakes on May the 15th at the Epicenter, Livingston went 9 innings in a game that wound up going 10, and the Sixers eventually won it 4-2. Adam Pavkovich, right-hander, takes a strike on 1. Pavkovich hitting .215, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Outfield straight away, and the pitch on the way. Ground ball off the end of the bat up the middle. Gonzalez gets to it, then spins around and throws to first to get the out. Nice play by Gonzo. Among the regular shortstops in the league, he would have the fewest number of errors. He doesn't have the highest fielding percentage because there are a couple of others who have had more total chances. But a nice play there to end the inning. Quakes are gone in order at the end of 1 1/2. It is 2-0 Inland Empire.
Community Hospital of San Bernardino's dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and general health care professionals have been serving the local community for nearly 100 years. They provide medical care that's both state-of-the-art and straight from the heart. They're located on Medical Center Drive between Highland and Baseline. Community Hospital of San Bernardino, the relief specialist. Information is available at 1-877-CHW-DOCS.
Evening, gentlemen. Can I see some ID, please?
But I'm bald.
So's my 2-month-old son.
But I have dentures, eh?
You should have brushed harder.
Look, I've got my senior citizens bus pass right here.
I'm afraid that's not a picture ID, sir.
World War I dog tags.
Sorry, soldier.
You can't be too careful about stopping underage drinking. So here's to everyone who checks ID. Thanks to you, teen drinking is down by 47%.
Picture me with President Coolidge.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Lisa McCree of California Connected. Join us each week for a look at what's going on in your state.
If people want politics to improve in this state, they have to get more involved in the political process, and they have a weapon to bear on that, and that is the ballot that they cast.
The problems and the solutions.
You get enough people together, and you be that squeaky wheel, you can make your own changes.
Get informed and get involved with California Connected. What state are you in? That's California Connected, Saturday at noon on KBCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
2-0 Inland Empire. We head to the bottom of the second. It'll be the bottom third of the order against left-hander Micah Posey, Matt Rogelstad, Matt Hagan, and then Brian Lentz, giving Rene Rivera a day off. Rogie drove in 3 yesterday, tied a season high, runs up the bunt and takes a strike 0-1 the count. Rogelstad had a 3 RBI game on April 10th. Going into yesterday, he had driven in just 2 runs in his last 9 games. Hitting .277, checks a swing and takes low and outside. He has actually done better against left-handers this year. 33 at-bats, hitting .364. He's hitting .250 against righties in just over 100 at-bats. Out in front of a pitch that dropped downstairs to run the count 1-2. Tomorrow night's game, it will be right-hander Phil Wilson for the Quakes and Felix Hernandez for Inland Empire. That'll be a 7-11 game. We'll have it for you, radio and internet, beginning at 7. Posey missing low and outside, 2-2. Wednesday in the morning game at 11 a.m., left-hander Joe Saunders, a former first-rounder of the Angels, goes for the Quakes. T.A. Fulmer for Inland Empire. And then Thursday at 7-11, right-hander Steve Shell. He is a good righty. He'll go up against Ryan Roland Smith. Rogelstad takes outside, 3-2. Wednesday's game, the morning game, we will not carry on radio. That'll be internet only on Sports Juice. Outfield, about straight away on Rogelstad, who reaches out and hits a dunker into left center field, but Reggie Willits is going to cover the ground and get to it. 1 away here in the second for Matt Hagan. By winning yesterday, the 66ers clinched a winning month for May. This, of course, being the final game of the month. They are 15-13. And, you know, if you go back over the last 6 years, that would go back to the 1999 season, San Bernardino teams have had just 3 losing months in that stretch. They total at 27 months of baseball, and they've only had 3 losing months. Hagan hitting the first pitch in the air to center. Reggie Willits comes in to get it. So Matt retired on the first pitch he sees. 2 gone in the second. Sixers leading 2-0, and that'll bring up the catcher Brian Lentz. Lentz, for the last 10 or 11 days, has pretty much been spending his time warming up pitchers in the bullpen. He has not started a game since the 20th of May at High Desert. And Rene Rivera pressing a bit at the plate and playing a demanding position anyway as the pitch in for a strike, so Rene finally getting a day off. Lentz hitting .212 in his 14 games, no homers and 6 RBIs. And Posey's next one swung on and fouled to the right of home 0-2. Lentz had that 3-hit, 4 RBI game against Visalia on April 27th up north. Since then, he has gone 2 for 18, 6 strikeouts, and no runs driven in. 2 out, nobody on. The pitch on the way is a little bit outside. We mentioned that Posey had a partial tear in his rotator cuff after he was signed by the Angels. He did not have surgery, though. He just used a rehab method, and it corrected itself all right. Lentz takes one inside to even the count 2-2. So when he was drafted in 01, he didn't actually sign with the Angels until May of 02. He was a draft and follow player, and then because of the injury, he didn't pitch that summer. Lentz goes for one in the dirt. Getting out of a crouch is Ryan Buddy. He'll go to first to get the strikeout. Brian with 13 Ks in 34 at-bats. That would be Posey's first of the night. We have played 2 here in San Bernardino with the Sixers on top of the Quakes, 2-0.
The good folks at Center Chevrolet are helping to make this broadcast possible. They're located at 1355 Southeast Street, just south of Rancho Road. Center Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. They have a large inventory of new and used vehicles with a variety of models, colors, styles, and options to choose from. They've been selling and leasing to the same customers for over 50 years. For more information, 909-889-8561, or find them on the web at centerchevrolet.com. Chevy, an American Revolution. Fans, you can see some of baseball's brightest and best future stars up close and personal at this year's California League versus Carolina League All-Star Game, June 29th at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. There will be a pregame skills competition that will include the always popular Home Run Derby. Tickets for this year's All-Star Game are available now. The 66ers can provide you with more information at 909-888-9922 or on the web at ie66ers.com.
This is Kathleen Taylor, inviting you to join us as we mark the birth anniversary of Marilyn Monroe. That's coming up on the next Word for the Wise.
Tuesday morning at 8:36 on KVCR San Bernardino.
2-0 in the opener of this 4-game series. Bobby Livingston, a 6-2 record. He would be tied for the league lead in victories. Clint Gutra of the Jethawks has won 6. Bobby would be 4th in the league in earned run average. And he would be 5th in strikeouts. He came in with 58. And he has 1 tonight. Rancho Melgarejo to start things off here in the Quakes 3rd, and then back to the top of the order, Reggie Willits and Eric Ibar. Melgarejo yesterday against Lake Elsinore had a single and a double, drove in a run and scored 2. He has 9 2-hit games this year, and he takes a first pitch strike. Rancho hitting .279 with 2 homers and 20 RBIs. Both his home runs coming on the road, where he has hit about 70 points higher than he has at the epicenter. The corners are in. Livingston's pitch is a fastball, a little bit high and away, 1-1. Just to go to show you what a crazy game baseball can be, the Sixers winning the last 2 games of that series here against the Mavericks, even though they gave up 16 runs. Off-speed pitch in for a strike, 1-2 to Melgarejo. So they get 2 wins in a row, giving up 16 runs. They had allowed just 8 runs in their previous 4 games, and they lost 3 of them. Melgarejo takes inside 2-2. Go figure. You know, even though their team ERA has gone up, and it's a lot higher in May than it was in April, their ERA for the month is still the second lowest in the league, and overall they still lead the league. Fastball just inside, awfully close. So that'll run the count to 3-2. Outfield shaded toward right. Melgarejo wiggles the bat around. Livingston back with a payoff pitch and a little tapper hit in front of the plate foul. So Melgarejo still up there 3-2. Livingston is one of 3 Sixer pitchers in the top 10 in the league in strikeouts. You got Felix Hernandez at number 3, Livingston number 6, and T.A. Fulmer checks in at number 8. And as a matter of fact, entering tonight's game, the Sixers tied with Bakersfield for the most strikeouts. And speaking of which, Melgarejo goes down swinging. So that's number 2 for Bobby Livingston. That'll bring up Reggie Willits. The Sixers staff had fanned 388 batters entering play tonight. They have struck out, not including tonight, 45 in the last 5 games. And you look at the staff strikeout to walk ratio in the month of May, almost 4-1. That is just about unheard of. Reggie Willits, who grounded to short to start the game tonight, back up there, and Livingston's pitch to him is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Sixers have not lost a home series this year. They have won all 6 of them. By far the best home record in the league at 17-4. Willits a chopper to first. Hagan right on the line, gets it, and then runs to the bag for the out. So Reggie Willits retired. 2 gone for Eric Ibar. Ibar, a strikeout in the first inning tonight. Eric has hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games. Came in hitting .354, second best in the California League. He is the league leader in hits this year. Grounds the first pitch down to short. Gonzalez with a quick toss to Hagan, and the Quakes gone very quickly. That would be 7 straight retired by Livingston. We have gone through 2.5 here tonight. Inland Empire on top of Rancho 2-0.
Hello, again to tell you about the wonders God is me. The Verizon Super Pages, the spicy jalapeno of the Yellow Pages world. Tonight, let's be play chic. I have oodles of clothing stores and salons. You can even get some very dark, mysterious sunglasses. Then we can hit the night spots all over town. I'm the Yellow Pages that knows where to boogie. And I'm also available on your cell phone and online on superpages.com. So you can open up the Verizon Super Pages phone book if you want to take a big swig from the flask of life.
Online, on your cell, in the book, the Verizon Super Pages. Wherever you are, there it is.
There's a saying in baseball that to play well, you have to look good from head to toe. That's why all Major League and Minor League baseball players wear caps made by New Era Cap Company. Behind every New Era flag is a storied past of passion, integrity, and pride. Passion for detail and excellence, integrity that's reflected in a high-quality cap, and pride for the successes and relationships born from passion and integrity. More information on New Era caps can be found at neweracap.com. New Era Cap Company. It's not a cap, it's a flag.
If you haven't been listening to Fresh Air, you've missed the stories behind 2 of pop music's most inscrutable songs. Robert Plant told us about writing Stairway to Heaven. Jimmy Webb described writing MacArthur Park. You'll hear the stories behind all kinds of songs on Fresh Air. I'm Terry Gross. Join us.
Weekday afternoons at 3 on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
Top of the order for the Sixers in the 3rd inning. Juan Gonzalez, who flied to right in the first, checks in against Micah Posey. Posey into the windup, and his first pitch to Gonzo is in the dirt on a check swing, gets behind the catcher Ryan Buddy. Buddy wants an appeal, but the plate umpire says no. Well, now he's going to ask, and they say no swing. Jeremy Bard behind the plate, Jeff Macias on the bases. Gonzalez, if you were to project his numbers over the course of an entire season, at the rate he is going, he would wind up with 177 hits. It's a lot of base hits for a 140-game season. Next one to him is high and inside. that would be, if he does indeed finish with that many hits, it would be the most hits by a San Bernardino player since league MVP Adam Riggs in 1995. Next one in for a strike. Adam Riggs, when he had that tremendous 95 season, had 196 hits. 2 balls and a strike, and here's the pitch from Posey. Outside and low, 3-1. Rob Gorb, the San Bernardino first baseman on that 99 championship team, he had 174 hits that year. Posey's pitch home to Gonzo as a big chopper hit slowly to third, fielded by Porter, who goes across to his first baseman Mike Napoli to get the out. One away for Jesus Guzman, who walked and scored the first of 2 first-inning runs. One thing about Memorial Day, among more other important things, I think Memorial Day, for one, reminds you that summer is here, especially today. It got up into the mid-90s. And that the boys of summer are about to kick their season into high gear. Pitch to Guzman is inside 1-0. There's some interesting things when you look at the first 2 months of the season in Major League Baseball, starting off with the National League Central. 1-0 pitch outside, 2-0. You know that going into today, all 6 teams in the National League Central were over 500. And the last time that had happened, as Posey's fastball is knee-high for a strike to Guzman, where everyone in the same division was over 500 in the National League through games of May 30th, would have been 1996, and that was the 14 National League West. Little ground ball hit off the hands to second. Pavkovich moving to his right to get it, and goes back to Napoli for the out. 2 gone in the third. And here's Gary Harris, who doubled in the first inning. The American League West 4 years ago had all 4 of its teams at the break-even mark or better as late as July the 15th. But, again, we're talking about a 6-team division this year. And most people figured it would be Chicago, Houston, and maybe St. Louis battling for that division. Harris takes a strike on 1. A few other interesting little notes. You look at the San Diego Padres, right there at the top of the National League West heading into play today. Harris backs away from an inside pitch, 1-1. The Padres, going into today, 28-22. Last year at this time, they were 15-40. Outfield, shading Harris toward left, 2-0 Sixers. Posey's pitch. Fastball is outside. Gary now hit 2 balls and 1 strike. So using a 50-game comparison, the Padres have a +28 one-loss differential over last year. They were 14-36 after 50 games a year ago. Harris fouls it in front of the plate, 2-2. The Atlanta Braves heading in today, 24-25, although 3 years ago they had that same record. They wound up winning 88 games by the end of the year and won the National League East. And then we have certainly documented the struggles in Seattle. The Mariners, 18-31 going into play today. They were exactly the opposite last year. Harris swings away and fouls it back to third. But how about the Montreal Expos? The Expos, through games of yesterday, were 16-33. At the same point of the season last year, Montreal was humming along with a 31-18 record. Harris takes a breaking ball inside, 3-2. John Nelson on deck, 2-0 Sixers here in the third inning. The Detroit Tigers, another surprising team, doing significantly better so far this year than they were last year. Harris bounces it slowly, gloved by the second baseman Pavkovich, but he has no play. Great play by Adam going to his left. He left his feet as the ball had cleared the dirt of the infield and was able to glove it, but by the time he had a chance, there was no chance to get Harris, so that'll be an infield hit for Gary. His second hit of the game, and here's John Nelson, who hit back to the pitcher in the first inning. Sixers have 3 hits. Detroit 22-27. Last year, through their first 49 games, the Tigers were 23 games under 500, and of course went on to lose 119. If they win today, it would be their 23rd victory. They did not win their 23rd game last year until the 9th of July. Nelson waiting. Posey from the stretch. John swings through it and doesn't get it. 0-1. The Sixers and the Quakes, first meeting of the year here in San Bernardino. These teams will have 7 games total here at this ballpark before the first half is said and done. And Rancho 6.5 behind the Sixers entering play tonight. Posey's pitch off speed is high and away to Nelson. 1 ball and a strike. Micah Posey, when he was at Tallahassee Community College 2 years ago, set a school record when he threw 3 shutouts. He wound up winning 9 of the 14 games he started. The next one to Nelly is inside to run the count 2-1. Those 9 victories, tying for 4th on the school's all-time single-season record, is 75 strikeouts that year, the 8th highest total for 1 year. Harris is running. The pitch to Nelson swung on and foul-tipped. Gary will head back to count to Nelson at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sixers on top by a 2-0 score. Rancho in that 3-game sweep this past weekend at home against Lake Elsinore. Got some very good pitching. That was also their first series sweep this year. They won 5-4 Friday and Saturday, and then 12-3 yesterday. Harris not running. Nelson swings and doesn't get it. So John strikes out. That would be number 2 for Micah Posey tonight. The Sixers getting a base hit, leave a runner here in the 3rd. We will head to the 4th inning here on Memorial Day. Wags will be with you for the middle 3, and our score through 3 is 2-0 66ers.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street.
If your home team is hungry for a mealtime winner, there's Carl Buddig. With 9 flavors like smoked turkey, honey ham, and corned beef, they've got taste and variety that won't strike out. Plus, Carl Buddig offers the convenience that keeps meal preparation time from going into extra innings. Original Carl Buddig is available in 2.5-ounce, 8-ounce, and 1-pound sizes at your local grocer. Carl Buddig, a real slice of life.
Hi, it's Lynn Rossetto Casper. This week is where Willy Wonka left off with Steve Almond, the author of Candy Freak. We get a tour of the best in world markets, and Michael Stern.
Lynn, we're going to a New York street cart where democracy is $1 more.
That's a splendid table to show about life's appetite.
Sunday morning at 10 on KVCR, San Bernardino.
Fast-paced game so far here in San Bernardino tonight on this Memorial Day evening. Inland Empire leading Rancho by a score of 2-0. Heart of the order coming up for the Quakes, Michael Napoli, David Gates, and Greg Porter to face Bobby Livingston. Bobby with 2 strikeouts, no walks so far. He's allowed 2 hits. Napoli has one of them. It's a 2-out single to right center field back in the 1st inning. He wound up getting stranded at 3rd. Way back in the right-handed batter's box, shaking the bat back and forth. First pitch is fouled to the screen, 0-1. Michael now 7 for 29 against Inland Empire pitching. Had a pair of home runs yesterday. That was his 4th 2-hit performance in his last 5 games. He's driven in at least 1 run in his last 5 outings. Livingston outside with the pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Napoli already with 15 multi-RBI games. One of them coming against Inland Empire back on the 14th of May. Livingston delivers, line drive into center field. It falls in front of Gary Harris. And now that is the 5th 2-hit game for Michael Napoli in his last 6. Leadoff single, the first leadoff man to reach tonight for Rancho. That'll bring up David Gates, who doubled Napoli to 3rd last time around. Gates, right-handed hitter. He's batted .326 against lefties this year. Gates 2 for 4 yesterday. with a home run, a double, and 3 driven in. Has a couple of 7-game hitting streaks this year. First pitch is fouled off out of play down the right side, 0-1. And only one game separated those 2 7-game hitting streaks. So if it wouldn't have been for that one game, he would have had a 15-game streak. Yesterday, snapped an 11-game hitting streak and on-base streak at home. Dated back to late April. That 11-game home hitting streak was the longest in the Cal League this season. He's way back in the box. Napoli with a decent-sized lead off of first base. Livingston with a small leg kick in the pitch. It's fouled off right side, out of play once again. So Bobby has Gates deep in the hole at 0-2. Gates has struck out in each of his last 7 games. 9 strikeouts in his last 7 games. Before those 7, he had gone 5 games without a single strikeout. That was his longest streak of the season without a K. Gary Harris's center fielder shaded slightly over toward right field. The 0-2 on its way. Popped up right side, foul territory. Hagan and Rogelstead giving chase in the bullpen. It will be Rogelstead making the catch and looking Napoli back to first base. Good concentration there by Rogie as he was headed toward that little hill in the bullpen mound and managed to keep his footing. First out of the inning, Napoli remains at first base. It'll bring up Greg Porter. Porter flew out to center field with a couple runners in scoring position to end the first. Check the California League scoreboard for you. Stockton 8-3 winners over San Jose today. The Ports with 8 runs on 9 hits. San Jose 3 runs on 7 hits. Here's Porter batting from the left side. First pitch swung on out of play. Down the third base line, 0-1. Littleton the winner. Brian Treadway the loser. He's at 4-3. Joaquin Arias, Vincent Sinisi had home runs in that game, as well as one for Adam Fox, his 7th. Lancaster Jethawks defeat the Lake Elsinore Storm 5-3. So the Jethawks now tied for the moment with the 66ers for first place in the South Division. Lancaster got 4 runs in the 7th inning. They were down 2-0 before that. They win it 5-3. The Jethawks pound out 11 hits up at the Diamond. Each team committed 3 errors in that ball game. They're stretching the 0-1, just missed low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Greg Porter. Visalia and Bakersfield will get going in about a half hour at Sandlin Ballpark in Bakersfield. 2-0 ball game here in favor of the 66ers. Livingston set at the belt, glove away from his body, delivers a fastball high to Brian Lentz. 2 balls and 1 strike to count to Greg Porter. Michael Napoli on first via the leadoff single. Porter earlier this year had an 11-game road hitting streak. As he slices one into right field, it'll fall in front of T.J. Bond. Napoli will move up 90 feet to second base. So for the second time in this ball game, the Quakes have 2 runners on. That will bring to the plate Jared Abruzzo. Abruzzo popped up to Juan Gonzalez to lead off this second inning.
Number 29,
Jared DHing tonight for Rancho. He's a .282 hitter, hitting .267 with runners in scoring position, just 4 for 15. Adding from the right-hand side, Abruzzo missed significant time in the early part of the season with an injury. Livingston delivers home. It's swung on and fouled to the backstop. 0-1 the count. Jared struggled as of late. Just 5 for 30 in his last 8 games coming in. But of his 5 hits, 2 of them have gone over the fence for home runs. Waiting on deck is Ryan Budde. Livingston curls the ball behind his back, comes set, peeks toward Napoli at second base. No one holding him close. Next pitch right back to Livingston. He looks to second and throws it high to Gonzalez. They will have the play at first, however. Livingston was waiting for Gonzalez to come to the bag, tried to lead him there, and the throw was high. Gonzalez had to leap, and the throw carried him behind the bag, nowhere close to the base. So that play will go 1-6-3, and they only get the 1 out on Jared Abruzzo. Napoli will move up to third, Porter to second. Abruzzo, the second out in the inning. 2 runners in scoring position for Ryan Buddy. Buddy flew out to left field in his only time at bat. Buddy did not have a hit yesterday. He's only gone once this year without a hit 2 games in a row. Happened last week. Swinging on the first pitch, he tipped it into Brian Lentz's glove. 0-1. Buddy, a .245 hitter. He's 5 for 21 this year with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Bobby Livingston has been spotted at 2-0 lead, trying to maintain it here in the top of the 4th. The 0-1 on the way. Fly ball to right field. Bond charging hard toward the line. Hagan tried to basket catch it over the shoulder and misplayed it. 2 runs will come in. We have ourselves a tie ball game. Tough play for Matt Hagan. He had to look over his shoulder and try to find it in the sunlight. He put his glove down in basket-style fashion at his belt, and it just hit right off the top of his glove and rolled onto the grass. That'll be a single for Buddy. He drives in 2. RBIs number 15 and 16 for him. 2-2 ball game. Here's Adam Pavkovich. Robbed on a nice play by Juan Gonzalez last time around. Livingston delivers low and away. 1-0 the count. 66ers for the moment tied for first place in the South Division. They and the Jethawks are at 30-20 with Lancaster's win this afternoon. The 1-0 on the way is inside. 2-0 the count. Article coming out today. Don't know how many of you fans check out baseballamerica.com. There's an article on the Tacoma Rainiers and their terrific starting rotation. Baseball America calls it one of the best, if not the best, in the minor leagues. That ball hit deep to right field. Bond at the track at the wall makes the catch for the final out of the inning. But the Quakes tied up with 2 runs on 3 hits. No 66er errors, although what looked like a sure double play ball was thrown away by Bobby Livingston. 1 runner left on base. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. More on that Rainiers rotation in just a moment. It's tied up at 2 between the 66ers and the Quakes.
The SBC Smart Yellow Pages is the most popular Yellow Pages in San Bernardino County. Why? Because the SBC Smart Yellow Pages is complete, trusted, and reliable. Omnitrans is working hard to provide the public with a level of service that's bigger and better. A listing of their system-wide improvements is in your bus book if you're a current Omnitrans writer or on their website. Omnitrans operates the nation's first gasoline-electric hybrid buses and over 100 buses powered by clean natural gas 7 days a week. Omnitrans will get you to work, school, or wherever life takes you with improved routes and better service. More information is at 800-966-6428 or on the web at omnitrans.org. Be smart, be safe, Omnitrans.
This is Kathleen Taylor, inviting you to join us as we mark the birth anniversary of Marilyn Monroe. That's coming up on the next Word for the Wise.
Tuesday morning at 8:36 on KVCR San Bernardino.
'66ers mascot Bernie doing the mascot dash with one of the young fans here in attendance tonight at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Quakes tying it up in their half of the 4th. We are knotted at 2 apiece. It'll be Peachy Ballette, T.J. Bond, and Matt Rogelstead to face Micah Posey here. Posey, in his first start after being called up from Cedar Rapids, through 3 innings has given up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. He has struck out 2 and walked 1. Talking about that rotation for Tacoma, the AAA affiliate of the Mariners, Clinton Najat was recently called up this past weekend to the Mariners, but he, Travis Blackley, former Stampeder here in San Bernardino, Bobby Madrich, Matt Thornton, and Chow Sung Beck, another former player here in San Bernardino, the starting rotation for Tacoma, called one of the best, if not the best, in all of America in the minor leagues. They are making waves up there in Washington State. Posey delivers to Ballette, lefty versus righty in there for a called strike to Peachy, who drove in the 266er runs back in the first inning with a single to center field. None of those 5 had pitched above Double-A before this season, except Thornton, who only had 9 innings worth of work with Tacoma last year. Posey delivers a fastball that just missed outside, 1-1. Concerned that they would struggle this year, all of them pitching in Double-A last year. Hard hit ball to the second baseman. Pavkovich takes a step back. Nice job not letting him short hop that one. He throws to first to record the out on Ballet. 4-3, it'll bring up T.J. Bond. Those 5 pitchers were 47-20 last year for the San Antonio Missions on that championship team that won the Texas League pennant. Greg Hunter, the Seattle Director of Minor League Operations, said the main difference between Double-A and Triple-A, once you get to the 6, 7, and 8 guys in the order, there's a vast difference. Not so much in the top, but those 6, 7, and 8 guys are of such a better quality when you go from Double-A to Triple-A. First pitch to T.J. Bond is low. Bond flew out to the warning track to end the first inning. Posey goes into the windup. The 1-0 is inside, 2-0. But those 5 for Tacoma this year, 18-9 with a 3.92 ERA. The surprise really has been Bobby Medrich. Here's a 2-0 on the way. Bond swings, short fly ball into center field. Willits coming on to his left, makes the catch. Long way to go for Willits, but he covered a lot of real estate in a very short amount of time. 2 down, nobody on for Matt Rogelstad. Madrich, a former product of the Cincinnati Reds system, played independent ball for a while, was named the Independent League Player of the Year back in 2002 by Baseball America in Seattle. Signed him after that. 13-7 with a 3.63 ERA last year with San Antonio. 3-0 with a 2.59 ERA for Tacoma. Rogelstad slices one behind second base and into center field. 2-out base knock for Rogie. He's now 1 for 2. Matt Rogelstad keeps the inning alive for Matt Hagan. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 2 apiece.
The first baseman, number 59, Matt Hagan.
Here's Hagan. Matt Hagan with a fly out to center field in the 2nd inning. Beck missed the 2002 season coming off of Tommy John surgery. We saw him last year here at Inland Empire before being promoted to San Antonio. Pitched 113 innings total, went 8-4 with a 3.10 ERA combined last year. First pitch fastball in there to Hagan for a called strike, 0-1. And Beck has walked just 5 in his first 31 innings with Tacoma this year, although he has surrendered 38 hits. But he does have a winning record and an ERA under 4. Hagan with a soft ground ball up the first baseline. It will stay in fair territory, now rolling foul, where Ryan Buddy will pick it up about halfway up the line. Heady play there by Ryan Buddy. Knew he had no chance to throw out Hagan. So they'll send Rogelstad back to first base. They count 0-2 to Matt Hagan. And if you want to check out that article, it's on baseballamerica.com. Hagan will retrieve his bat from the right-handed batter's box. Rancho with 2 runs on 5 hits. Inland Empire 2 runs on 4 hits. Hagan in the hole at 0-2 with Brian Lentz waiting on deck. Posey comes set, looks toward first, now delivers home. Fastball that caught the inside corner and got Hagan looking. 3rd strikeout for Posey, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on base for the 66ers here in the inning. We've completed 4 from Arrowhead Credit Union Park. We're tied up at 2 between the Sixers and the Quakes.
San Bernardino, you could use a change. Is it time for you to change your motor oil and filters? The Public Services Department has free used oil and filter collection containers available to City of San Bernardino residents. Containers are available at City Hall at 300 North D Street. Please bring a valid ID and your current water bill, only 1 of each per household. Used motor oil may be taken to any certified recycling center in San Bernardino. For a complete listing, the number is 1-888-OIL-DROP. This program is funded by a grant from the California Integrated Waste Management Board.
How has Car Talk lasted so long?
Maybe it has something to do with our relentless optimism.
Well, I have a suspicion that if you rebuild the transmission, you might get up over the 10-mile-per-gallon mark.
We're putting the car in the ferry too.
Oh, if you're lucky, it might fall off.
We're Click and Clack the Tapper Brothers. Join us for Car Talk.
Tune in 3 times each weekend on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
As California continues to grow, so does the important underground infrastructure. Just about anywhere you dig, there could be an underground facility lying in wait. How do you avoid hitting them? The easy way, the legal way, is Dig Alert. It's the one-call notification center that supports all of Southern California. It's a simple process to help and avoid the costly errors of cutting fiber optic cables to the hazard of damaging power lines or gas pipes. For more information before you dig, 1-800-227-2600.
Back to action. Rancel Melgarejo will lead off out of the 9-hole for the Quakes before Rancho turns it over to the top of the order for Reggie Willis and Eric Ibar. Tied up at 2 as we enter the top of the 5th. Be interesting to see how Bobby Livingston responds after giving up 2 runs in the 4th. And tough to fault Bobby. He's pitched so darn well this year, but had a tailor-made ground ball double play waiting for him. He fielded the ball and threw high to Juan Gonzalez covering second. Inland Empire just got 1 out of that play, and Rancho scored 2 runs after that. Livingston with a first pitch fastball in there for a strike to the right-hander Melgarejo. Corner infielders in, another fastball missed inside. 1-1. Melgarejo struck out swinging to start the 3rd inning, one of 2 Ks for Bobby Livingston. Melgarejo now in a 5-game strikeout streak. Here's a 1-1. Breaking ball on the outer part of the plate for a called strike, 1-2. There was a 10-game stretch for Melgarejo this year from April 12th through the 22nd. He struck out in all 10 games in that time period. 15 times he whiffed in those 10 games. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nice job by Livingston to handcuff Melgarejo. Looked like Rancel was looking for something outside and had no chance to make contact with that one. That is K number 3 for Livingston. And his first in striking out Melgarejo in the 3rd. That'll bring up Reggie Willis. 0 for 2 with a ground out. Livingston with the corner infielders, even with their respective bags, delivers on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1. The center fielder, Gary Harris, shifted a few feet over toward left. Rancho Cucamonga in the road gray jerseys and pants. Quakes written across the front in blue numerals, and the names written on the back. There's the 0-1. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike on a fastball. Blue hats for the Quakes and blue stirrups shown by Willits. The 66ers in the home white tops, white pants. 66ers written across the front. Red numerals on the back and the blue hats. Here's a 1-1 on the way upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Willits hitting .304 in his last 5 games with a couple of RBIs. Tied for 4th in the league in stolen bases, 7th in runs scored. Here's a 2-1, fouled off right side out of play. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Willits does not walk a whole lot. In fact, he drew a walk on Saturday, and that was his first in 9 games. Only 3 walks in his last 18 games. So he's a free swinger. Here's the 2-2 on the way. Swung on. Oh, it's short hop Guzman. He's able to handle it. Strong throw over to first, dug out by Hagan for the out. Guzman, as always, fielding the ball from the side, and it's always an adventure, especially on those short hops like that. We've seen a few sneak under Jesus' glove this year, but that one handled cleanly. 5-3 on the putout. Here's Eric Ibar, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Right now, the Mariners and the Blue Jays are scoreless in the bottom of the 1st inning. Ichiro Suzuki just singled to center field for the Mariners to lead off the bottom of the 1st. Ibar chops it foul down the first base side. Handled down there by the first base coach. Kansas City lost to the Tigers of Detroit today, 8-4. Detroit with 14 hits in that game. Knox the winner, made the loser. Here's the 0-1. Miss low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Guzman on the grass at 3rd base. Hagan even with the first base bag. Middle infielders at normal position. The outfield shifted slightly left. Switch hitter Ibar batting from the left-hand side. Pitch misses down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to count.
Livingston goes into the windup. Swung on, hit hard into right field. Bond coming on, diving catch. Oh, he couldn't come up with it. That'll be a base knock for Ibar. Good effort out there by TJ, a foot first slide in order to get underneath that one. Looked like it hit off the bottom of his glove as he was sliding in. Base knock for Ibar, his first of the ball game. He's now 1 for 3. That'll bring up Michael Napoli. Napoli already with 2 base hits in this one and a run scored. It was Ryan Buddy who had a 2-out single in the 4th to bring home both Quakes runs. Here's a pitch on the way. That's hit hard past the diving Juan Gonzalez and into left field. Rounding second and heading to third is Ibar. Harris will concede it and throw it into second base. So the Quakes with another 2-out rally here. They've got runners at the corners with 2 outs, and David Gates coming to the plate. Gates with a double and a pop out. Gates, right-handed hitter, stepping in. He's hitting a lofty .417 with runners in scoring position this year. 20 for 48. Livingston will work out of the stretch. Ball behind his back. Brian Lentz flashing the signs. Ibar at third, Napoli on first. Livingston set at the belt. The leg kick and the delivery. Check swing and an ugly one by Gates. He went around. 0-1 the count. Gates has driven in 44 runs so far this year. He's third in the league in RBIs. He's got a couple of 5 RBI games so far this year. He had a 3 RBI game against the 66ers on May the 16th. Livingston delivers low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gates hitting well above his .299 season average in the last 10 games. He's at a .342 pace with 3 home runs and 8 driven in. Way back in the box is Gates. Livingston set. The 1-1 is on its way, swing and a miss. Livingston did not really give Gates a chance to hit that pitch. It was down and away. Enough to be tempting for Gates, but not too far into the strike zone for Gates to get a good swing at it. That'll run the count to 1-2. Gates had a home run yesterday and 3 driven in. Runners at the corners for the Quakes here in this 2-2 ball game in the top of the 5th. Bobby's set. Here's the delivery. Oh, just missed high. Lentz tried to frame it and bring it down an inch to around belt level for Gates. Home plate umpire Jeremy Barb didn't bite on it. On deck if necessary is Greg Porter. 2 outs in the inning, a 2-2 count to Gates. Big pitch here for Bobby Livingston. Lentz sets up on the outer half of the plate, and the pitch gets by him. Coming in is Ibar. He will score. Moving up to second is Napoli. That'll be a wild pitch on Bobby Livingston, his 3rd of the year. And the Quakes have the lead at 3-2. Looks like Livingston and Lentz got crossed up there as that pitch came over the middle of the plate and low, as opposed to outside where Lentz was setting up. Count, I believe now is 3-2 to David Gates. 3-2 Quakes. They have taken their first lead of the ball game. Napoli now on second. Time is called. '66ers need this win to stay atop the South Division. Rogelstead draws the assignment of keeping Napoli close. Now we'll back off. The 3-2 pitch missed outside. First walk of the game issued by Livingston. Just his 10th walk this year. Runners on first and second. Greg Porter comes to the plate. All 3 Quakes runs in this ball game have come with 2 outs in the inning. Here's Porter with a single to right and a fly out to center. Now Gonzalez shadowing Napoli at second base. Livingston delivers a pop-up. Back of second base. Could be trouble. Harris on. Nope. Looks like it's a routine play, and it will be. Ball hung up there long enough for Harris to camp out underneath it. The Quakes, however, get a run in the inning to take their first lead. They do so on 2 hits, no 66er errors, and 2 runners left on base. Inland Empire will come to bat in the bottom of the 5th. They trail the Quakes 3-2.
Once again, 66ers baseball is partnering with the San Bernardino County Regional Parks. With 10 regional parks in the county, San Bernardino County Regional Parks offers camping, fishing, swimming, hiking, and a variety of special events and activities throughout the year. Catfish season runs through September, and the water parks are open from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day weekend. For more information on the park near you, call the number at 909-38-PARKS.
The good folks at Center Chevrolet have one simple philosophy: to exceed expectations in every area as it pertains to their customers' needs. Center Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. This allows them to offer you their personal guarantee that your experience will be pleasant and you'll be greeted by a courteous and knowledgeable staff member. Center Chevrolet, serving the Inland Empire for over 50 years, is located at 1355 South East Street and on the web at centerchevrolet.com. Chevy, an American revolution.
This is Dan Bernstein, columnist for the Press Enterprise. Whether you're commuting to work or commuting with a cup of coffee, I invite you to listen to my commentary, Bernstein with a Twist, every Tuesday at 6:06 and 8:06 in the morning on KVCR 91.9 FM.
Well, the 66ers trail for the first time as the Quakes jump out on top 3-2. Here comes Inland Empire to the plate in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brian Lentz set to go get things going here against Micah Posse, who misses outside. 1-0 to count to Lentz. Been a long time since Lentz has seen action. Rivera caught the last 9 games for Inland Empire. Check swing by Lentz as it rolls out of the dugout down the first base side, belonging to Rancho. 1-1 strike to Brian. Brian last played on May the 20th at High Desert. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, hit over top of the screen to our right. So Brian down in the count at 1-2. Brian had 3 hits and 4 RBIs back on April the 27th at Visalia. Had a triple in that ball game since then. He is gone as he slams one into left field. It's got a chance to the wall, and it is out of here. On to home run hill. Brian Lentz with his first home run of the year. The 66ers have tied it up at 3-3. Just as I was mentioning Lentz's struggles, he turns on a pitch that was about belly high and roped it over the left field wall. Didn't take long for it to get out of the ballpark. Definitely a bonus to get a home run out of your 9-hole hitter. That'll bring up to the plate Juan Gonzalez. That's the 4th home run given up by Posey this year. Chopper to the third baseman Porter on the first pitch, and he will throw Gonzalez out. Juan is now 0 for 3. 66ers came in last in the Cal League in home runs. That is their 15th home run in the month of May, just their 2nd in their last 6 games plus tonight. Here's Jesus Guzman coming up. He walked and scored a run in the first, grounded out in the third. Posey with the pitch, swinging a miss by Guzman on a fastball, belt high. 0-1.
His first homer of the year.
Posey goes into the windup, and the 0-1 in there for a called strike on the inner half of the plate. 0-2 the count. Base is empty, 1 out. Pitches inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rancho starters this year are 14-17 with a 5.14 ERA. Guzman pokes 1 foul behind the plate to stay alive. However, this is the first time, don't know if Segs mentioned it pregame, although I'm sure he got it in there somewhere, that the Quakes have started someone else other than their original 5 that they started the season with. Phil Wilson, Gene Toledo, Joe Saunders, Steve Shell, and Daniel Davidson had started every game for the Quakes up until now. A 1-2 low to Guzman. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gene Toledo went on the DL. And Posey, who was running rampant for Cedar Rapids in the Midwest League, got the call up. Comes in 6-0 with a 2.36 ERA. Strange, Posey, the lefty, has done a lot better against right-handers than left-handers, limiting right-handers to a 2.01 average. Guzman got handcuffed on it and lifted it up into center field. Underneath it is Reggie Willits to record the second out. That'll bring up Gary Harris. Lefties are hitting 250 off of Posey compared to righties at 201. Very odd. Harris with a double to right and a run scored. He also had a single. A diving stop by Adam Pavkovich totally left his feet in order to prevent it from going into the outfield, but could not get up in time to make a throw to challenge Harris, who was hustling down the first base line. Posey lets one fly. Harris lays down a bunt third base side. 2-hand stop by Porter. Throws to first, and it gets by Michael Napoli. Looks like it'll be a bunt single for Gary Harris, and it will be his third hit of the ball game. So Harris keeps the inning alive here, and it'll bring up John Nelson. That is the 6th three-hit ball game of the year for Gary Harris. Here's John Nelson now to the plate. Nelson 0 for 2 with a soft ground out back to the mound. With a couple of runners on base in the first inning, struck out to end the third with a runner on. Posey will step and throw to first base. Ryan Buddy handling the catching duties for Rancho tonight has not done a good job at all of throwing runners out when they've attempted to steal. Nelson swings through one, 0-1. 55 runners have taken off against Buddy this year. He's only caught 10 of them. So 182 percentage. There are only 2 catchers in the California League that have a worse average. Posey has Harris picked off, throws down to first. Now Ibar covering second will apply the tag. Didn't look like Harris was leaning. We'll see how they rule that one when we come back. In any case, the Sixers get 1 run on the jack by Brian Lentz. 2 hits in the inning, no errors, and no runners left on base. Rancho will come to bat as we head to the 6th inning. We are level at 3 apiece.
Toyota of Redlands is pleased to once again be partnering with the California League champion 66ers. Located at 1139 West Redlands Boulevard, Toyota of Redlands has a line of new 2004 Toyota cars and trucks, as well as certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Toyota of Redlands is part of the local community just like you and believes in personal relationships, and they're open 7 days a week. More information is at 793-0300 or on the web at toyotaofredlands.com.
I'm Scott Schaefer, host of the California Report, and I hope you'll join me for our next program. The Golden State often takes center stage in politics, policy, and culture. Each day, our journalists in Sacramento, San Francisco, the Central Valley, and Southern California report and analyze the news. So please join us for the California Report weekday mornings at 6:50 here on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
Which Yellow Pages do more people in San Bernardino County use? The SBC Smart Yellow Pages, of course. They're online at smartpages.com.
Here we go to the 6th inning. Quakes and Sixers tied up at 3. Jared Abruzzo, Ryan Buddy, and Adam Pavkovich set to face Sixer ace Bobby Livingston. These 2 teams will go at it 3 more times this week. It'll be Felix Hernandez and Phil Wilson tomorrow. Game time 7:11 p.m. 2 for Tuesdays tomorrow with 2 for 1 admission. Livingston delivers. Pitch up high to Abruzzo with a breaking ball, 1-0 the count. T.A. Fulmer will face lefty Joe Saunders for the Quakes on a Wednesday. That'll be the final morning weekday game for the Sixers. Ball is fouled out of play onto the grass berm on the right field side. 1-1 the count to Abruzzo. Abruzzo 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out.
Don't forget, tomorrow, Tim Salmon making a rehab start for the Quakes. His second of the year. We saw him earlier when the Sixers played the Quakes at the Epicenter. Swing and a miss by Abruzzo, 1-2. That Wednesday game will be an 11 o'clock start, 11 o'clock on the nose. Livingston with the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. That's going to fall into right field. No, Bond makes a great catch. A shoestring catch for P.J. Bond about 5 feet inside the foul line.
Number 6, Ryan.
Abruzzo went about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way around on that spring, or the swing rather, and just happened to make contact with it. Good running catch by TJ. Here's Ryan Buddy with a 2-run single and a flyout. The 4-game series will come to a conclusion on Thursday. Ryan Roland Smith gets a nod for Inland Empire as Livingston delivers low to Buddy, 1-0. It'll be right-hander Steve Shell for the Quakes. Game time 7-11 for that one here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. Here's the 1-0 released by Livingston. Pop up right side. T.J. Bond will run on. Underneath it, makes a catch after running about 5 steps in. Second straight put out for Bond out in right field. That'll bring up Adam Pavkovich, who flew out to T.J. in the 4th and grounded out in the 2nd. Other scores on this Memorial Day evening from the major leagues. The Orioles defeat the Red Sox 13-4. A 7-run 6th inning for the Orioles in that one. They pound out 16 hits on Red Sox pitching. The other game in the American League, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays over the Minnesota Twins 7-3. Livingston the lefty against Pavkovich the righty. Adam hitting just .215 with 6 RBIs. First pitch in there for a called strike just above the knees. 0-1. Giants have taken a 2-0 lead on the Diamondbacks in Arizona. That game in the top of the 4th inning. Barry Bonds home run number 14. Swinging a sharp ground ball foul past Quakes skipper Bobby Meacham behind the third base coach's box. So Livingston ahead in the count at 0-2. Colorado and San Diego are scoreless at the end of 2 innings. The Mets defeated the Phillies earlier today 5-3. Braves over the Expos 8-2. Russ Ortiz with the win. He's now 6-4. Fly ball down the right field line. Matt Hagan gives chase along with T.J. Bond, and T.J. makes the catch just inside the foul line. Bond records all 3 putouts in the inning. 1-2-3 frame here, and that is the second, now the third time that the Quakes have gone down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. We'll head to the bottom half of the 6th. Still tied up at 3 between the Sixers and the Quakes.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in the score, and the plate going to second with a double.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-HALL of Fame.
From the day they were born, you wanted your child to have the very best. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital shares that same commitment, providing your child with the most advanced care available. Hospitals can be scary. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital provides a cheerful environment for more than 100,000 children each year, and they're the only children's hospital in the Inland Empire. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital. Information is at 800-825-KIDS.
Which Yellow Pages do more people in San Bernardino County use? The SBC Smart Yellow Pages, of course. They're online at smartpages.com.
3-3 stalemate here in San Bernardino as the Sixers come to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. Trying to maintain their lead in the South Division. It's on the line here tonight. The Jethawks of Lancaster, with their win earlier, have tied the Sixers atop the division. Here's John Nelson leading off against Micah Posey, and Nelson fouls one back. 0-1. Nelson was at the plate when Gary Harris got picked off of first base to end the 5th. The play went 1-3-6, and it was, in fact, a pickoff and not a caught stealing. Nelson is 0 for 2 on the ground out and a strikeout. One of 3 Ks in the ball game for Posey, who is making his first start here in High A. Here's the 0-1 on the way, swinging a miss by Nelson at a pitch around his thighs. 0-2. Sixers pounded out 19 hits yesterday. Scored in every inning except the 6. They were never retired in order. They have 6 hits here tonight, 3 runs. Posey delivers a fastball, let her high for a ball. 1-2. Sixers hit .461 in the last 2 games against High Desert. The 1-2 unleashed by Posey, hit into left field, base knock for John Nelson to get things going here in the 6th. Peachy Ballette will follow him. Sixers have had leadoff men reach now in the last 2 innings. No leadoff man had reached in the first 4. Here's Peachy Ballette with a 2-run single on the ground out. 66ers have had a leadoff man reach in 167 innings now this year. They have scored in 96 of those frames. It's about a 58% mark. 66ers hitting .303 out of the leadoff spot this year. Best in the California League. That home run by Lentz in the 5th inning was the 8th home run out of the leadoff spot for the Sixers. Throw over to first base. Nelson goes back standing. The lefty, Micah Posey, against the righty, Peachy Ballette. Posey set. Glove away from his body. He'll step and throw to first once again. Ballette now with 16 RBIs on the year, with those 2 back in the 1st inning. Peachy has hit safely in 27 of his 37 games with an at-bat. Posey misses outside. Count 1-0 to Ballette. Don't be fooled by Nelson at first base. A very big frame, but he is apt to run. Getting a decent lead off the bag and creeping towards second. Posey, the left-hander, looks at him closely and delivers a fastball high to Ballette. 2-0. Nelson does have 9 stolen bases this year. He's only been caught twice. Sixers and Quakes tied up at 3 here in the bottom of the 6th. Ibar and Pavkovich at short and second, playing a little bit in here. The 2-0 was fouled off by Ballette, rolling toward the Quakes on-deck circle. 2 balls and 1 strike. Speaking of on-deck, T.J. Bond waits outside the circle for the Inland Empire 66ers. Both teams with 3 runs on 7 hits. The sun just now beginning to set. Lights are on but have not taken effect as of yet. Beautiful Memorial Day here in San Bernardino. The 2-1 pitch, hit and run is on. Foul ball into right field, into the bullpen seats. Count now 2-2 to Peachy. Ballette hitting .287 this year. Darren Brown will flash the signs from behind the third base coach's box. 66ers mascot Bernie, draped in American flags, entertaining the crowd on the third base dugout. Posey set, and he'll throw over to first base. Standing once again is Nelson as he goes back in. Quakes pitching this year has allowed opponents to hit .314 with runners on base. That is a league high. There goes Nelson. The 2-2 on the way is inside. Throw down to Ibar on 1 hop, and that'll be a stolen base for John Nelson, his 10th here in this 2004 campaign. So now Peachy's got a runner in scoring position and a full count. Nobody out in the inning. Peachy coming in hitting .316 when he's had a runner on second or third. First base is open with T.J. Bond waiting on deck. Ryan Buddy will flash the signs to Micah Posey. Let's see where he sets up at. It'll be right down the middle. Delay kick in the pitch. Ballette reaches out and will foul one down the right field side out of play. Major League scoreboard today. The Atlanta Braves over the Montreal Expos 8-2. That was a tie ball game until the Braves batted in the bottom of the 7th inning. They scored 6 runs to take the lead and wrap things up. J.D. Drew, home run number 10 for the Braves in the win. The Cubs beat the Astros 3-1. The Astros had 10 hits, but only 1 run. Here's the payoff pitch to Bowlett, and he'll foul it off again out of play right side. Casey with a good at-bat here. Greg Maddox picked up the win for the Cubs. He's now 4-4. Roy Oswalt took the loss for the Stros. He's at 3-4. Lance Berkman, home run number 14. Moises Alou with his 13th round tripper for the Cubbies. The Reds defeat the Marlins 9-7 today, even though being out hit 14-10. The Reds committed 3 errors and still won the ball game. Posey set. Ibar is right on the heels of John Nelson at second base. Now he backs off. Pitch on the way, hitting the left field. That will fall in front of Gates. They're waving Nelson around. He will not draw a throw. The 66ers in this back-and-forth ball game have taken the lead at 4-3. Third RBI of the ball game for Peachy Bowlett. That is his first 3 RBI ball game here in 2004. Still nobody out in the inning. It'll bring up T.J. Bond. Bond with a couple of flyouts to center field. Time is called as Keith Comstock, the pitching coach for Rancho, makes his way out. Right-hander warming up now in the pen for the Quakes. This is Posey's first start in high A ball. He's given up 4 runs, all of them earned on 8 hits through 5+ innings. We'll get a name as soon as we can decipher who that is down in the Quakes pen. Once again, tickets available for this midweek series between the Quakes and the Sixers. For more information, the number is 888-9922. It's a critical 4-game set for Inland Empire. They have done so well at home this year. Unlikely to keep up the 17-4 pace that they have started the year out on. But if they can play anywhere close to that, they should be in good shape down the stretch here. They'll have a boatload of home games to close out the first half. Here's the pitch to Bond, swing and a miss on a fastball, 0-1. That is Cliff Smith warming up in the bullpen for the Quakes. 6'6", 200-pound right-hander. 0-1 to count to Bond. Smith recently demoted from Arkansas in the Texas League. He has not pitched yet for the Quakes. Bond lifts one into shallow right field just beyond the outfield grass, going back and making the catch. Here's the second baseman, Adam Pavkovich. That's the first out of the inning. And it'll bring up Matt Rogelstad.
Number 3, Matt Rogelstad.
Rogie with a single and a flyout. A nice running catch by Reggie Willis out in center field to rob Rogelstad of a base knock to lead off the second. Rogie straps on the batting gloves, gets him nice and tight. Rubs out the back line of the left-handed batter's box, plants his feet. Couple of practice swings. Posey will throw over to first base. 66ers got 2 runs in the first inning on a 2-run single by Peachy Bowlett that plated Jesus Guzman and Gary Harris. First pitch to Rogelstad on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. The Quakes tied it up in the top of the 4th on a 2-run single by Ryan Budde that brought home Michael Napoli and Greg Porter. Posey set. The 0-1 on the way to Rogelstad, down low around the shoestrings. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sixers got the lead back in the bottom of the 5th on a leadoff home run by Brian Lentz over the left field wall and onto Home Run Hill. Sixers led at that point as Posey comes set. The Quakes took the lead in the top of that inning as Eric Ibar came around to score. So they led 3-2. Lentz's home run tied it up at 3-3. And the Sixers scoring here in the 6th inning to retake the lead on an RBI single by Peachy Bowlett. Rogelstad with a ground ball to Pavkovich at second, flips to Ibar for 1, over to Napoli at first for the Twin killing. 4-6-3 double play, the 41st time that the Sixers have grounded into a double play this year. but they do get the one run on 2 hits. No errors by the Quakes, and the bases left empty. We have played 6 complete here in San Bernardino. It's Inland Empire 4, Rancho Cucamonga 3. Mike Sager returns to the booth in just a moment to take you through the rest of tonight's ball game.
Evening, gentlemen. Can I see some ID, please?
But I'm bald.
So's my 2-month-old son.
But I have dentures, eh?
You should have brushed harder.
Look, I've got my senior citizen's bus pass right here.
I'm afraid that's not a picture ID, sir.
World War I dog tags.
Sorry, soldier.
You can't be too careful about stopping underage drinking. So here's to everyone who checks ID. Thanks to you, teen drinking is down by 47%.
Picture me with President Coolidge.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Community Hospital of San Bernardino's dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and general health care professionals have been serving the local community for nearly 100 years. They provide medical care that's both state-of-the-art and straight from the heart. They're located on Medical Center Drive between Highland and Baseline. Community Hospital of San Bernardino, the relief specialist. Information is available at 1-877-CHW-DOCS.
On Justice Talking, we hear policymakers like Secretary of Education Rod Page.
The old way will no longer be tolerated. We demand equity. No child is to be left behind.
And critics get equal time.
NCLB looks to me like another dose of policy pollution instead of a helping hand to my struggling school.
I'm Margot Adler, host of NPR's Justice Talking. Join the debate.
Sunday afternoons at 2 on KVCR, San Bernardino.
Well, hi again, everybody. The Sixers leading the Quakes 4-3 as we head to the Rancho half of the 7th. Melgarejo leads off against Livingston, who got the side in order last inning, and he has fanned Rancho twice tonight. First one just missed a little bit outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Melgarejo, number 9 in the order, so that means Willits and Ibar to follow. Corners are in, and the next one is upstairs, so Livingston behind 2-0. Bobby trying to go 7 tonight. Next one is driven into right center field. That's going to get down. Base hit. Over to cut it off is T.J. Bond. Melgarejo gets back to first. So the Quakes get a leadoff man aboard. They have had, well, that's only the second. They had a leadoff hit by Napoli in the 4th inning and wound up getting a couple of runs in that frame. Back to the top of the order, and Reggie Willits. Ryan Lentz going out to the mound to have a quick word with Livingston. Bobby has allowed 8 hits tonight. And in fact, in his last 3 starts, including tonight, the opposition has hit a little over .330 against him. However, he has allowed only 1 extra base hit tonight. In his last start in Lake Elsinore, he gave up 5 extra base hits. Guzman up at third, looking for a possible bunt. Livingston decides to flip one over to first base. Reggie Willits hitting .254 when the night started, a little bit over .230 on the road. Right-handed batter, the outfield just about straight away on him. Livingston staring at first. Bobby flips one over for a strike, and it's 0-1. On the scoreboard tonight, St. Louis beat the Pirates 8-3. The Cardinals, a 4-run 3rd inning to take the lead, and they held on to it. Dodgers in 10 innings at home beat Milwaukee 3-2. Eric Gagne picked up the victory. Strike 1 on the way is on the hands, popped up to the right. Foul territory, it will be Lynch who makes the catch in front of the Quakes dugout. So Reggie Willits retired. That'll bring up Eric Ibar, who has struck out, grounded out, and single. Ibar against Livingston this year, that would have been his first hit. 1 for 9. In his last at-bat, I noticed that Ibar hit left-handed, and he is a switch hitter. His first 2 at-bats he hit from the right side. You might wonder, well, why would he turn around and hit left-handed against a lefty? All you have to do is look at his splits. Ibar is a left-handed batter. Is hitting .411, but from the right side of the plate, he is under .190, and it paid off for him. So don't know if he is thinking about abandoning the switch hitting route, or if it's just something he's doing against Livingston, who he had not had a hit against in the 2 previous games and 2 at-bats tonight. Bobby over to first base to drive Melgarejo back. Quakes are a running team. Only High Desert has more steals, but Rancho has been caught stealing more than any team in the league this year. There goes Melgarejo, the pitch outside. Lentz a one-hopper dug out of the dirt by Rogelstad, but the call is safe. It didn't appear that Matt dropped it, and he did a fine job to dig it out, but Jeff Macias said no, it was too late. So Melgarejo, with the tying run, is out there in scoring position for Eric Ibar, who has knocked in 18 this year. He has not had an RBI in his last 9 games, and that follows a stretch in which he drove in runs in 4 straight, collecting 6 RBIs. Leans over the plate a bit as he stares out at Livingston. Bobby's pitch home is swung on and hit inside out, back to third over by the Inland Empire bullpen. Activity down there. That is right-hander Darwin Soto. Livingston in the 7th. Looking at his starts this year, Bobby 4 times has gone at least 7 innings. Leading 4-3 here in the top half of the 7th. He looks back at second. Melgarejo going to third. Got a good jump in. There's a line single into right by Ibar. We've got a tie game. So Eric Ibar, deciding that he was not going to hit right-handed against Livingston after going 0 for 2, hits left-handed against the lefty. And he's got 2 hits and 2 at-bats and drives in his first run in his last 10 games. So Rancho has tied it, their 9th hit of the night, their 8th single. Now Ibar, who has a league-high 26 singles coming up, or 26 steals, although he has been caught 17 times. And now you got Mike Napoli, who has singled 3 times in 3 at-bats. Napoli had been 1 for 7 against Livingston prior to tonight. Right-handed hitter, and the first pitch to him is a breaking ball over for a strike, 0-1. Mike Napoli, what's really impressive, well, most of his numbers are, but you look at his strikeouts, and he does strike out quite a bit. He had 51 coming into play tonight. That translated to about 30% of his at-bats as Livingston goes to first. You take away the strikeouts and look at what Napoli has done when he has put the ball in play. Mike this year has hit over 460. And he's 3 for 3 tonight. Livingston, hand set out in front of the belt. Bobby's pitch lined over third. That's headed for the corner. So Mike Napoli is 4 for 4. Ibar should be able to score. He's being sent home by Meacham, and no throw. Mike Napoli, coming into tonight's game, had 4 2-hit games in his last 5. And now he gets a 4-hit game here tonight against Bobby Livingston, the second extra base hit allowed by Bobby. That is the second time this year Napoli has had a 4-hit game, and here comes Darren Brown, and that'll be the end of the line for Bobby Livingston. So the Quakes reclaim the lead 5-4. They have scored in 3 of the last 4 innings after Livingston shut them out in the first 3 tonight. And that means Bobby leaves in a position where he can either lose it or have a no decision. He started the year 6-0, but if he does lose tonight, he will have lost 3 in a row. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings in Lake Elsinore in his last start. He has allowed 5 runs in 6 in the 3rd innings tonight. And Darwin Soto is going to come in to try to shut the door. We'll take a pitching change break, 90-second timeout. Quakes up 5-4 in the 7th, and we'll be right back.
Fans, you can see some of baseball's brightest and best future stars up close and personal at this year's California League versus Carolina League All-Star Game, June 29th at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. There will be a pregame skills competition that will include the always popular Home Run Derby. Tickets for this year's All-Star Game are available now. The 66ers can provide you with more information at 909-888-9922 or on the web at ie66ers.com.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street. Variety may be the spice of life, but when it comes to kicking it up a notch, there's only one place that's really turning up the heat, Dairy Queen, and it's only getting hotter with the spicy new flamethrower burger from DQ. It's a juicy all-beef double hamburger topped with pepper jack cheese, crispy jalapeno bacon, and spicy Tabasco-flavored mayo, and put the fire out with a nice cool blizzard treat on the side. For a limited time at participating DQ restaurants, the flamethrower burger from Dairy Queen. DQ something different.
Going into tonight's game, Bobby Livingston had allowed 1 run in his 4 starts here in San Bernardino. He'll be charged with a minimum 5 runs tonight, and they are all earned. Napoli at second belongs to him as Darwin Soto pitches to David Gates, and the first pitch to the right-hander is high. Gates a double, fouled out to Rogelstad, who made a very nice catch over by the bullpen in the 4th inning, and then walked in his last at-bat. Gates hitting .299 when the night started, 12 home runs, 44 RBIs. He was 3rd in the league in slugging, 3rd in runs batted in. Breaking ball outside, 2-0. He was leading the league in extra base hits and was 4th in the league in home runs. In fact, Gates, at his present pace, would be on pace to hit 34 home runs and drive in 126. 2-0 pitch is low and outside, 3-0. And you look at Gates and Mike Napoli. We talked about Napoli's RBI pace when he was up the first time tonight. Gates and Napoli are on pace to combine, if they stay here all year and stay healthy, to hit 77 home runs. A pop foul hit behind the plate, out of play. Napoli is on pace to hit 43. And the last time a Cal Leaguer hit 40 or more home runs, you have to go back to 1966, when current Cardinal pitching coach Dave Duncan hit 46 that year. Outfield straight away, Soto's pitch, breaking ball in there. Gates about to throw the bat aside, so the count now 3-2. Darwin Soto picked up a save in his last appearance here against the High Desert Mavericks a couple of nights ago through a scoreless inning. He has worked in a couple of games against the Quakes prior to tonight, and they, of course, would have been in Rancho. Pitch on the way, breaking ball inside. So he loses Gates. That puts 2 on with 1 out. And we'll bring up the third baseman, Greg Porter, who is 1 for 3 with a 4th inning single and a run. Soto, with no record against Rancho, and in his 2 games, has thrown 2 scoreless and hitless innings. Now going up against Porter, who is trying to add to the Rancho lead. Quakes with 5 runs on 10 hits. And they got it all against Livingston. The pitch on the way to Porter, bounced to first. Hagan will spin, fire to second, and the ball dropped by Gonzalez as he has to pick it up over by the shortstop area. We will see how they score it, but regardless of the outcome, it will be bases loaded. That'll be an error on Gonzo. We were extolling his virtues earlier tonight, saying how he had the fewest number of errors among the regular league shortstop. And that would be just his 9th of the year, which is a pretty low total by Cal League standards. So now the Sixers are really in a mess. Bases loaded, 1 out, trailing by 1. And Jared Abruzzo will now turn around and hit from the left side. Switch hitting catcher. Abruzzo has not seen action behind the plate this year, mainly DHing. Swings at an off-speed pitch on 1. When he's been in the field for a handful of games, it has been as a first baseman. Jared hitting .282 in his 19 games, and 9 of his 20 hits have gone for extra bases, including 5 home runs. He is 0 for 3 in the game tonight. Hagan in at first, rest of the infield back, and Abruzzo bangs it into right. So that'll chase home Napoli. Everyone else moves up 90 feet and stays. So it is now 6-4 in favor of Rancho. So Abruzzo drives in his 12th run in 20 games. That run charged to Livingston. So Bobby charged with 3 runs in the inning and 6 in the game. That is a new season high for him after allowing 5 in his last start. August 22nd last year, the last time that he had been charged with as many runs, he gave up 7 in a start against Burlington, the 22nd of August last year. So the number 7 hitter in the order is up. That would be Ryan Buddy, who chases an outside breaking pitch. He is the 8th man to hit in the Rancho 7. Gates at third, Porter at second, Abruzzo at first. Rancho has scored 3 and have a 6-4 lead. Soto ready and deals, and Buddy again chased one out of the strike zone, 0-2. Ryan singled to drive in 2 runs in the 4th inning. You know, with Abruzzo getting that bases-loaded hit, it's worth mentioning that entering tonight's game, the Quakes were hitting a league-worst 161 with the bases loaded. And we'll check Buddy's numbers out if we have time. He hits a 1-hopper to short, Gonzalez to second, Rogelstadt to Hagen, and they get the double play. So that gets Inland Empire out of the inning, but not before the Quakes get 3 runs, sending 8 into the plate. The error by Gonzalez, so I believe. Well, no, that last run will be earned. So we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. It's now the Quakes 6, Inland Empire 4.
Letting you know about the features of the Verizon Super Pages. You see, the Verizon Super Pages is the only Yellow Pages that's with you wherever you go. The Super Pages is on the Internet. The Super Pages can be downloaded to your cell phone. Other books just sit at home in a dusty drawer weeping like a little girl who just ate too much Halloween candy. Well, I, on the other hand, am Wiley.
Online, on your cell, in the book, the Verizon Super Pages. Wherever you are, there it is. Omnitrans is working hard to provide the public with a level of service that's bigger and better. A listing of their system-wide improvements is in your bus book if you're a current Omnitrans rider or on their website. Omnitrans operates the nation's first gasoline-electric hybrid buses and over 100 buses powered by clean natural gas 7 days a week. Omnitrans will get you to work, school, or wherever life takes you with improved routes and better service. More information is at 800-966-6428 or on the web at omnitrans.org. Be smart, be safe, Omnitrans.
It was another time and another place in American life. It was radio. This is Ed Roth, inviting you to join me this week as I Remember Radio as we present the bright sounds of Broadway on the Manhattan Merry-Go-Round with songs sung so clearly you can hear every word. That's the Manhattan Merry-Go-Round, Saturday afternoon at 2, and then again Sunday morning at 5, here on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside, as I Remember Radio.
Rancho going to the bullpen. Micah Posey, his first Cal League start, goes out in a position to win. The left-hander went 6 innings tonight, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits. Right-hander Cliff Smith, just down from Double-A Arkansas, will take over. So this will be Smith's first appearance with Rancho. It is not his first career appearance. He was with the Quakes for part of last year and all of 2002. Went to a small college on the East Coast in Massachusetts. He was signed as a non-drafted free agent 3 years ago. He worked in 36 games with the Quakes in 2002. He was 3-8 with an ERA of 4.8. He started 3. And then last year, pitched in 15 games for Rancho, starting 5 of them. And was 2-2 with a 5.79 ERA. Pitched in 13 games in Double-A and actually did better than he did in the Cal League. Matt Hagen, the first one up, lines it down the left field line, but foul out of play. Matt is flied out and fanned tonight. Smith in Arkansas last year in 13 games, his ERA 2.60, and he allowed fewer hits than innings pitched. This year, though, in Arkansas, wasn't quite the same for him. 16 appearances and an 8.69 ERA. The Texas League hit over 380 against him. The pitch outside to Hagen, 1 ball and a strike. So if the Sixers don't rally, Livingston will lose his third straight after starting the year 6-0, and the Sixers will fall out of first place because Lancaster has already won. Hagan pops it up behind the plate out of play, 1-2. Jethhawks had an early game today. They beat Lake Elsinore by a 5-3 score. Boy, the Storm really struggling. They have now lost 5 straight. So they would be 4.5 games behind the Jethhawks. Lancaster at the moment, if you want to be exact, is tied with Inland Empire, pending the outcome of this game. Hagan looks at one low and outside, 2-2. The Sixers, in recent games, have been allowing quite a few runs here in their own ballpark, which had been about as close to bulletproof as can be. Big breaking ball, and Hagan out in front strikes out. So Matt has whiffed in 2 of his 3 at-bats tonight. One hit in his last 14 at-bats. And he has struck out at least once in 21 of his last 22 games. Here's Brian Lentz, starting for the first time since May 20th, and hit his first home run of the year leading off the 5th. Smith's pitch to him, hit late off to the right out of play. The 66ers, going back to Saturday night's game here against the Mavericks and including tonight, have allowed in those 3 games 42 hits and 22 runs. That's a lot of runs, but especially for this ballpark. Smith, fastball inside to Lentz to even the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. The team earned an average going into Saturday, 355. Starting play tonight, it was a little over 370. And all 6 Rancho runs tonight are earned. Lentz lines it off the back of Smith. The ball rolling on the third base side, no play. And we'll see if Cliff is all right. That'll be a base hit for Brian Lentz, his second of the night. Rancho's trainer going out there. Hit him somewhere in the back, I think. It happened so quickly it was tough to see, but he had his back partially turned after delivering. Brian Lentz, entering tonight's ball game, was 2 for his last 18 with no RBIs, so he is 2 for 3 tonight, a single and a home run. They're going to have Smith make a pitch or 2 to just make sure that he's okay. Well, it's tough enough to get demoted. No player likes that to happen, and then in your first game, you get clocked by a line drive back through the box. Well, he makes one pitch and convinces everyone he's all right. So Juan Gonzalez will be coming up here. The Sixers now with 9 hits tonight. Gonzo, though, does not have one. He is 0 for 3, and going into the game, Gonzalez had hit safely in 9 straight. During the hitting streak, Juan hitting .421, 7 RBIs, 7 runs. And he had really worn out the Quakes in the first 2 series in Rancho. In 7 games there, Gonzalez hit .469, including his only home run. First pitch to him is inside, 1-0. Also had 7 RBIs. He has a 4-hit game and a couple of 3-hit games against the Quakes this year. Batting left-handed against Smith after hitting from the other side against Posey. Third baseman is in. Gonzo hitting it foul over by the Rancho bullpen where they have some activity. 1 ball, 1 strike. Trying to get a number on that reliever, and I can't see it yet. Outfield is a little bit toward right, so playing Gonzalez to pull. Smith set about letter high on the jersey, and the pitch home is swung on and popped in the air to right. Gonzalez was out in front of it. I think Melgarejo lost it, and he's not going to be able to recover as the ball drops on the warning track. Lentz will head to third, and Gonzalez gets a gift double. Well, that could be a break the Sixers sorely need, down by 2. Any other time of the day, that's a fly out to right. But this particular time of the day, with the earlier start, the lights have not fully taken effect. That is a tough sky. And Melgarejo, as soon as the ball got into the air, put his hands out to his side, which was an indication he didn't know where it was. So the tying run is at second. Jesus Guzman, the batter, he has walked, grounded out, and flied out. He's got a 6-game hitting streak, 11 for 23 during the streak. That hit by Gonzalez means he's now hitting 10 straight. Smith works out of the stretch, and the first one is on the outside corner, no balls and 1 strike. Cincinnati today, a 9-7 winner in Florida. Sean Casey hit 2 home runs, 8 and 9. Ken Griffey Jr. hit his 13th. Smith with a breaking ball low and outside, 1 ball and a strike. The Cubs over Houston 3-1. Greg Maddux evening his record at 4-4. Atlanta beat Montreal 8-2. Russell Ortiz, former Cal Leaguer, got the win. Guzman takes one in the dirt outside, 2-1. The Mets over the Phillies 5-3. San Diego in the bottom of the 5th inning at home, leading Colorado by a 1-0 score. And the Giants in Arizona in the 6th inning lead it 4-1. Barry Bonds has hit his 14th of the year. The 2-1 pitch to Guzman, and that slips out of Smith's hand, misses upstairs. So now it's 3-1. And on deck you have Gary Harris. In case you missed it yesterday, Nomar Garciaparra began his minor league rehab assignment for the Red Sox. The 3-1 pitch. Little bouncer hit to the right side. That'll get a run home as Pavkovich, the second baseman, throws out Guzman, and now it's 6-5 Rancho. Brian Lentz scoring on the ground out. Gonzalez, the tying run, now at third. And here's Gary Harris, who has a double and a couple of infield singles. He bunted his way aboard last time. Gary had 3 hits last night. So Harris, who tied a season high in hits yesterday, does it again today. You know, he has multiple hits in 7 of the last 8 games in which he has hit safely, going 17 for 43 at the plate. And the first pitch from Smith outside. They've got Porter at third base playing up on the grass. Gary, after his bunt hit in the 5th inning, wound up being picked off by the pitcher, Micah Posey. Sixers down by a run. Boy, we have had a lot of offense the last 3 days for this park. Arrowhead Credit Union Park, we've mentioned it before, year in and year out, the best pitcher's park in the league. The 1-0 pitch, that's way outside, 2-0. In the American League, the Mariners are at home against Toronto, leading 3-1 in the 4th inning. Vernon Wells has hit a home run for the Blue Jays tonight. The Tigers doubled up on Kansas City 8-4. That game is a final. Smith getting signed, big 6'6" right-hander. And Harris takes one high, so it's now 3-0. The Orioles beat Boston 13-4. And it was Tampa Bay over Minnesota by a 7-3 score. Only 4 games in the American League. I remember when I was a kid, everybody played doubleheaders on Memorial Day. 3-0 pitch to Harris. He's taking outside. So runners on the corners with 2 outs. And John Nelson, who is 1 for 3, will have a chance to tie the score and maybe do even better than that. Bobby Meacham going to the mound, so we're going to have a pitching change. Cliff Smith, in his 2004 Quakes debut, has it cut short. And he goes out with 2 runners out there who belong to him, so his outcome somewhat in the air right now, as would be the case for the pitcher he replaced, starter Micah Posey. We'll take a 2-minute pitching change break. Sixers are trailing the Quakes 6-5 with 2 on in the 7th, and we'll be back in a moment.
Quitting smoking isn't easy. It takes the average smoker several attempts to be successful. Quitting with the right support can make all the difference. With the support of products like Nicorette Gum, Nicoderm CQ Patch, and Commit Lozenge, you have a better chance of success. Nicorette, Nicoderm CQ, and Commit are safe, effective, and FDA approved to help you fight cravings, irritability, and restlessness while you quit. They've helped millions of Americans quit. You can too. Use as directed. Follow dosing schedule. Individual results may vary. Support program improves chances of success. Variety may be the spice of life, but when it comes to kicking it up a notch, there's only one place that's really turning up the heat, Dairy Queen, and it's only getting hotter with the spicy new Flamethrower Burger from DQ. It's a juicy all-beef double hamburger topped with pepper jack cheese, crispy jalapeno bacon, and spicy Tabasco-flavored mayo, and put the fire out with a nice cool blizzard treat on the side. for a limited time at participating DQ restaurants. The Flamethrower Burger from Dairy Queen. DQ something different.
Your grandparents came here.
The long drive, and it's a home run for Joe DiMaggio.
Your parents came here.
Here comes Roger Maris in to score, and Zapata pulls to second with a go.
Now it's your turn.
Number 3,000 for one of the great players of all time, George Brett.
Cooperstown, New York. A tradition of excellence for 7 decades. Be a part of it. For information, call 1-888-Hall of Fame.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street.
Right-hander James Carroll pitching to John Nelson with runners on the corners here in the 7th inning. Sixers trailing 6-5. Nelly is hit back to the box, struck out, and then singled to begin last inning and eventually scored. Give you Carroll's numbers in a moment. Outfield straight away. First pitch to Nelson way inside. 1 ball and no strikes. This would be his 14th appearance. He is 1-0. 23 hits allowed in 17 2/3 innings. He has walked 11 while fanning 9. The next pitch to Nelson. Breaking ball is hammered into left field. Gates going back. Looks up. Nelson has just hit it out. By John Nelson, and the Sixers have jumped back in front 8-6 in a 4-run 7. That is his 5th home run of the year. He has now driven in 13 runs in his last 10 games. How about that? 2 home runs by the Sixers tonight, who hit just 1 in their last 6 games. Now Peachy Ballette, who has 2 hits and 3 RBIs, climbs in, and Carroll's first pitch to him fouled off to the right. Well, I'll tell you, this game going right along the lines of the last 2 games against High Desert. Maybe Yogi Berra wasn't so crazy when he uttered that famous phrase, "It ain't over till it's over." Especially in baseball, there is no time clock. Both teams 11 hits tonight. Carroll's pitch to Ballette is low, 1 ball and a strike. Carroll's last appearance was Friday night against Lake Elsinore. He pitched 2 scoreless innings. That is the 6th hit in 12 at-bats he is allowed to the first batter he's faced when coming into a game. He misses outside to Ballette, 2-1. And that means that Carroll has now allowed, well, he's inherited 6 runners, and they've all scored. Breaking ball is up and in, 3-1 to Ballette. Carroll was called up from extended spring training the 3rd week of April, though he hadn't been with the Quakes the entire season. He was signed by the Angels as a non-drafted free agent last summer. There's a pitch on the outside corner. Ballette thought it was ball 4. So it's 3-2. '66ers allowed 3 home runs yesterday. Now they've hit 2 tonight. 3-2 pitch to Peachy is a chopper back at third. That's fair down the left field line. So Ballette's going to have his 3rd hit of the night heading to second base, and that will be a double. So Carroll has allowed a home run and a double to the 2 men he has faced. T.J. Bond now the 8th man to hit in the inning. This is the 23rd time this year that the Sixers have scored at least 6 runs. And when they have scored 6 runs or more, they have won 20 out of 22 games. And by comparison, when the Quakes have allowed the opponent to score 4 runs or more, they are 12 games under 500. Bond is 0 for 3. And Carroll's pitch to TJ is hit foul back at third, right by Darren Brown. No balls and 1 strike. In that series against Lake Elsinore, the Quakes sweeping 3 games, they came from behind in each of those 3. I mentioned earlier they got some pretty good pitching in that series, a team ERA of about 280 in the 3 games, and very good starts. Their starters giving up just 6 earned runs. Strike 1 pitch to Bond is downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Prior to that Elsinore series, the Quakes had lost 8 out of 9, and a big reason was the pitching. The ERA in that 9-game stretch was right at 6, plus they walked 40 batters in 9 games. A look back at second by Carroll. TJ taking inside, backs away from it, and the count now 2-1. Rancho is allowing on average about 5.5 earned runs on the road. Their ERA at home is in the low 4s, so there is a pretty big difference. They have also allowed more home runs with runners on base, as Carroll's 2-1 pitch to Bond outside, 3-1. They have allowed 27 home runs with runners on base. And I believe I'd have to double check. I think High Desert is the only team in the league that's given up more, and the Quakes have allowed the highest average in the league when there have been runners aboard. Carroll's 3-1 to TJ is inside, ball 4. So Bond, who is near the top of the league in that category, draws a walk and gets aboard for the first time tonight. 32nd walk of the year. TJ 4th in the league in walks. So Carroll has not been the answer. He has put all 3 men aboard that he has faced, and now Matt Rogelstad will be the 9th man to hit in the inning. Getting the paid attendance tonight, 1,239. Tomorrow night's game back at the 7-11 starting time. Rancho will have right-hander Phil Wilson. Inland Empire will trot out righty Felix Hernandez. And Tim Salmon supposed to begin a rehab assignment with Rancho tomorrow night. Rogelstad, a single in the 4th inning, 1 for 3, hit into a double play in the 6th.
Number 3,
I'd like to remind you that our friends at CID, proud to support 66er baseball, and the game's on the radio. The Center for Individual Development, located in San Bernardino, offer a wide variety of recreation programs for people with disabilities. More information is at 384-5426. Rogelstad with 2 runners out there and 2 outs in the 7th. 4 runs have scored. And the first one to Matt is lifted back a third down the line, racing over David Gates. He won't get it. Winds up going foul on 1. '66ers have had a lot of big innings this year. Yesterday against the Mavericks, they scored in 7 of their 8 at-bats. They had 3 multi-run innings, including a 4-run frame. They had 3 multi-run innings on Saturday. Their biggest would have been a 3-run first inning. Outfield straight away on Rogelstad. Carroll's pitch line to left. Gates coming in, though, to make the catch. Good at bat by Rogie, but he hit it right to the left fielder, and the inning is over. But not before Inland Empire bats around and gets 4 runs to reclaim the lead. 3 of them on the home run by John Nelson. So we go to the 8th inning. It is now Inland Empire 8 and Rancho Cucamonga 6.
San Bernardino, you could use a change. Is it time for you to change your motor oil and filters? The Public Services Department has free used oil and filter collection containers available to City of San Bernardino residents. Containers are available at City Hall at 300 North D Street. Please bring a valid ID and your current water bill, only 1 of each per household. Used motor oil may be taken to any certified recycling center in San Bernardino. For a complete listing, the number is 1-888-OIL-DROP. This program is funded by a grant from the California Integrated Waste Management Board.
If your home team is hungry for a mealtime winner, there's Carl Buddig. With 9 flavors like smoked turkey, honey ham, and corned beef, they've got taste and variety that won't strike out. Plus, Carl Buddig offers the convenience that keeps meal preparation time from going into extra innings. Original Carl Buddig is available in 2.5-ounce, 8-ounce, and 1-pound sizes at your local grocer. Carl Buddig, a real slice of life.
Hi, it's Lynn Rossetto Casper. This week it's where Willy Wonka left off with Steve Almond, the author of Candy Freak. We get a tour of the best in world markets, and Michael Stern.
Lynn, we're going to a New York street cart where democracy is $1 more.
That's the Splendid Table, the show about life's appetite.
Sunday morning at 10 on KDCR, San Bernardino.
Well, thanks to the seventh inning dramatics, Bobby Livingston has been taken off the hook. He will not suffer his third straight loss, as the Sixers now lead 8-6. B.J. Weed is going to come off the bench and pinch hit for Adam Pavkovich here in the Rancho 8th inning. Pavkovich was 0 for 3 tonight. Weed did not play against Elsinore yesterday. He was 0 for 3 on Saturday and 0 for 7 in that series. Batting left-handed, crouches way down in the box, and Darwin Soto's first pitch to him misses low. Weed hitting .298, home run and 17 RBIs. On base percentage a bit low, though. It's just under .320. He takes one on the outside corner for a strike, and that'll run the count to 1-1. Weed, this would be the first time he has come off the bench for Bobby Meacham this year. Melgarejo on deck. Soto's pitch is low and inside to run the count to 2-1. Before Nelson's home run, I started to talk about the beginning of Nomar Garciaparra's rehab stint, which he began yesterday playing for the Red Sox AAA team in Pawtucket, and he ended up going 0 for 3. He's been out all year with a sore Achilles tendon. Soto missed way outside, not even close, 3-1. Younger brother Michael is supposed to get that cast off his left wrist in the next couple of days, and probably it'll be about a week or so after that before he's in the lineup. 3-1 is a chopper to the right side. Hagen backhands it, goes back to Soto covering, and they get the out. One away here in the Rancho 8th inning, Ranzo Melgarejo, who singled to start the Rancho rally last inning coming up. It has been a back-and-forth game tonight. The Sixers got 2 in the first inning, and then Rancho tied it with 2 in the fourth. The Quakes took a 3-2 lead with a run in the 5th inning, only to see the Sixers get 1 in their half. Melgarejo looks at strike 1. Then Inland Empire took the lead with a run in the 6th inning. Rancho chased Livingston and got 3 in the 7th, only to see the Sixers come back and get 4 in their half. Guzman is up tied at third, Hagen in at first. Melgarejo looks at one low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Houston Astros got some bad news. Andy Pettitte going back on the disabled list. Andy felt some tightness in his left forearm during a throwing session. He went on the DL, retroactive to May 26th. Melgarejo fouls it back a third, and in fact, I think he fouled it off his foot. Rancho hobbling out of the batter's box, up on the first base side. So the count 1-2. The Astros had said the other night they were hoping that Pettitte could start on June the 7th, but that is not going to be the case now. He had to leave his last start last Wednesday against Chicago because of a strained left forearm. He rested 3 days, tried to throw yesterday, and had to cut it short. Outfield toward right, and Soto's 1-2 to Melgarejo is inside, 2-2. Reggie Willits on deck. There is good news for the Cub fans out there. Mark Pryor is evidently ready to go. Pryor, who's been on the DL since spring training, is supposed to start Friday night when the Cubs play the Pirates. There's a shot hit back a third, barely foul. Melgarejo got every bit of it, and it was fouled by maybe a half a foot. Remains 2-2. Pryor made his third rehabilitation start yesterday for AAA Iowa, struck out 10 batters in 5 1/3 innings. Cubs been a little bit dinged up this year, but still managed to hold things together. Melgarejo pulling one past Bobby Meacham down the left field line. He is among 9 Cubs on the DL. That includes fellow starter Kerry Wood and right fielder Sammy Sosa. We mentioned earlier, going into play today, Every team in the National League Central was 500 or better. Soto sets at the belt. Right-handers 2-2 to Melgarejo. Swung on and missed. So that would be the third time that Rangel has struck out in the ballgame tonight. First strikeout for Darwin Soto. Out number 2 here in the 8th inning. The batter now will be the center fielder, Reggie Willits.
Number 11, Reggie Willits.
Melgarejo is now fanned in 6 of his last 7 games. 5 straight. Willits is 0 for 4. Standing in from the left side against Soto. The corners are in, and the first pitch is squib foul behind the plate. Reggie is a switch hitter. So he hit from the other side against Livingston. Not really a big difference in his numbers. 245 from the right side, 257 from the left side. Had a little 4-game hitting streak snapped on Saturday against Lake Elsinore. Outfield, fan toward right on Willits, who's out in front of the pitch to fall behind 0-2. Willits, 16 stolen bases, so he can be a bit of a headache if you let him get on base. And so far tonight, all 4 at-bats, he has been retired, keeping the ball in the infield. Sixers up 8-6 here in the top of the 8th opener of a 4-game series. Soto's fastball is outside. So Willits now with a 1-2 count. How have the Quakes done in close games this year? Well, 1- and 2-run games. Rancho's combined record is 10-11. The Sixers in 1- and 2-run affairs, they are 13-12. Willits takes one high and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Center, ladies and gentlemen, with 7 minutes remaining in the game, it's the Eagles 74, the Lakers 82.
Quakes are 2-7 in 1- and 2-run games on the road. 2-2 to Reggie Willits. Nobody on base here in the 8th. Brian Lynch setting his target. Soto hits it on the outside corner. Strike 3 call, and Willits didn't like the call at all, and he lets Jeremy Barb know about it. He is 0 for 5. Soto gets a perfect 8th inning, including 2 strikeouts. He will head to the bottom of the 8th here in San Bernardino with the Sixers on top of the Quakes 8-6.
It's now time for Toyota of Redlands is pleased to once again be partnering with the California League champion 66ers. Located at 1139 West Redlands Boulevard, Toyota of Redlands has a line of new 2004 Toyota cars and trucks, as well as certified pre-owned Toyota vehicles. Toyota of Redlands is part of the local community just like you and believes in personal relationships, and they're open 7 days a week. More information is at 793-0300 or on the web at toyotaofredlands.com.
Which Yellow Pages do more people in San Bernardino County use? The SBC Smart Yellow Pages, of course. They're online at smartpages.com.
If you haven't been listening to Fresh Air, you've missed interviews with such film directors as Sofia Coppola, the Farrelly brothers, and John Waters. I'm Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air. Join me for conversations with some of the most interesting people in entertainment and the arts.
Fresh Air, weekday afternoons at 3 on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
Inland Empire this year, when they have taken a lead into the 7th inning, have won 29 out of 33 times. They actually blew the lead in the 7th, only to get it in their half. So they take a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 8th. Against right-hander James Carroll. Matt Hagan will start the inning off. Matt is 0 for 3, a fly out and a pair of strikeouts. Brian Lynch will follow him, and then Juan Gonzalez. Human Computer in San Bernardino wants you to know they specialize in PC repair and parts. They can also repair notebooks and can normally turn a job around in as little as 1 to 2 days. So if your computer is on the fritz, remember Human Computer on the corner of Highland Avenue and Del Rosa in San Bernardino, as Hagan takes outside. More information at 886-9000. Carroll shrugs his shoulders as the right-hander climbs back on the rubber, and the 1-0 pitch is a bouncer hit to third, fielded by Porter. He'll fire across to Napoli for the out. One away for Brian Lentz, who hadn't played in 10 days and responded with a home run, a single in 3 at-bats, scoring twice tonight. Hit that line drive that struck the pitcher, Cliff Smith, on the back. And that started the whole rally for the Sixers last inning. They just made the announcement, B.J. Weed finishing up at second base for Pavkovich after he came in to hit for him. Carroll winds and deals. Lentz hits a foul off to the right. This day in baseball history was on this day in 1938 that Lou Gehrig played in his 2000th consecutive game. It came in a contest against the Red Sox. Carroll back with the 0-1 to Lentz upstairs, 1 ball and a strike. 1961 on this day, Carroll Hardy, little-known player, pinch hit for Carl Yastrzemski in the 8th inning of the game against the Yankees. Lentz takes one on the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carroll Hardy, the answer to a little-known trivia question. He is the only player who ever pinch hit for both Yastrzemski and Ted Williams. 1-2 pitch to Lentz. A little bit high and outside, 2-2. Gonzo on deck. Detroit rookie Pat Underwood in his Major League debut threw 8 1/3 scoreless innings against the Blue Jays, and the guy he faced was his brother Tom. They had actually set that up intentionally. 2-2 to Lentz is hit off to the right out of play. And 24 years ago tonight, Minnesota outfielder Ken Landreau saw an end to his 31-game hitting streak. Landreau would later go on and spend several years with the Dodgers. 8-6 Inland Empire here in the 8th inning, 1 out. And Lentz swings away. It's a flare into right center field. Going back is Mel Guerrejo to get it. Still shy of the warning track. Out number 2 here in the 8th. And the batter will be Juan Gonzalez, who is 1 for 4. Another big play last inning. And we've seen it happen many times in the past. Gonzalez hit that fly ball to right. Mel Guerrejo lost it in the twilights or perhaps in the lights themselves. And instead of it being an out, which would have been the second out of the inning, it fell in for a double. The first pitch to Gonzo is low. Well, the very next batter, Guzman, grounded out to drive in a run, but that would have been the last out of the inning, and the Sixers would have never scored the 4 runs. Carroll winds in the 1-0 pitch to Gonzalez. On the hands, hit the other way in the air to left field. David Gates over to get it. Inland Empire retired in order, and that would be the first time since the second inning. They were not retired in order yesterday. We will go to the ninth. We'll see if the Sixers can hold on here. They'll need to remain in first place since Lancaster has already won its game. At the end of 8, Quakes trail the Sixers 8-6.
Evening, gentlemen. Can I see some ID, please?
But I'm bald.
So's my 2-month-old son.
But I have dentures, see?
You should have brushed harder.
Look, I've got my senior citizen's bus pass right here.
I'm afraid that's not a picture ID, sir.
World War I dog tags.
Sorry, soldier.
You can't be too careful about stopping underage drinking. So here's to everyone who checks ID. Thanks to you, teen drinking is down by 47%.
Picture me with President Coolidge.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The good folks at Center Chevrolet are helping to make this broadcast possible. They're located at 1355 Southeast Street, just south of Rancho Road. Center Chevrolet is family-owned and operated. They have a large inventory of new and used vehicles with a variety of models, colors, styles, and options to choose from. They've been selling and leasing to the same customers for over 50 years. For more information, 909-889-8561, or find them on the web at centerchevrolet.com. Chevy, an American Revolution.
This is Kathleen Taylor, inviting you to join us as we mark the birth anniversary of Marilyn Monroe. That's coming up on the next Word for the Wise.
Tuesday morning at 8:36 on KVCR San Bernardino.
A win. He has not had a victory. His only decision was a loss against Lancaster a little over a month ago. Quakes will have Ibar, Napoli, and Gates, so they will have their three best hitters here in the ninth inning. And if you're going to go down or if you're trailing, that's the way you want it. Happened to work out that way for him. So needless to say, Ibar is a very critical hitter. Eric, with singles in his last two at-bats, drove in a run in his last at-bat. That was his first RBI in 10 games. 2 hits in 4 at-bats tonight, so his league-leading hit total now at 69 in 49 games. Kid who hit .315 his first 2 years in the Angel system and was hitting .354 when this game started. Hagan and Guzman will play in on the corners, and Soto's first pitch is down and in, 1 ball and no strikes. By the way, for those of you who follow college baseball, just about that time of year, tournament time, they announced the tournament field today. Ibar takes low 2-0. The top 8 national seeds: Texas #1, South Carolina, Miami, Georgia Tech, Stanford, Rice, the defending champs, Arizona State, and Arkansas. Ibar swings and doesn't get it, 2 balls and a strike. UC Irvine, a 34-21 record. They will be playing against Arizona in South Bend, Indiana. The regional in nearby Fullerton, California, Arizona State will take on Pepperdine, and Minnesota playing the host team, Cal State Fullerton. UCLA in the regional at Oklahoma City, and they'll be playing Oklahoma. Longtime Bruin coach Gary Adams, who is going to hang them up at the end of the season, trying to get his Bruins back to Omaha. Ibar chops it wide at first base, foul. So Eric now with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sixers have out hit the Quakes 12-11 and lead it by 2. Friday night, the opener of the homestand was a 2-1 Maverick win, and it has been all offense in 3 days since. The 66ers in 3 games have allowed 42 hits and 22 runs, but fortunately for them, the bats have been going. Ibar hits a little pop-up into right. T.J. Bond racing in, has time though, and he makes the catch for the out. There's a big one. Getting the leadoff hitter. That means that the best that Napoli can do is make it a 1-run game, but you also have a home run hitter behind Mike in David Gates. The Sixers scoring 28 runs in the last 3 games. They had 461 in the last 2 of the Maverick series. Mike Napoli, if you want to put a different spin on the season that he has had this year, Napoli going into this season had played professionally for 4 years. Breaking ball, good one in for a strike. He had 20 home runs and 101 RBIs in 728 lifetime minor league at-bats. Well, he's got 4 hits tonight. Notch out, the pitch from Soto hit him. That's the last thing in the world Darwin wanted to do. You've got another home run threat coming up in David Gates. That's only the 2nd time that Napoli has been hit. That would be the 3rd man that Soto has hit this year. So David Gates, the batter, a double, couple of walks, and earlier tonight a pop-out. Anyway, finish the thought on Napoli. With 15 home runs, he's just 5 shy of his career total. 58 RBIs, he is well over halfway to his career number in that category. So now David Gates up there, the 6'1" outfielder out of the University of Alabama, Huntsville. Soto's first pitch to him is on the outside corner for a strike. Gates made his California League debut last year, and he did it in mid-May against Inland Empire. Went 1 for 3 in that game. His first California League home run coming on June 1st last year, almost 1 year to the day, and that was against the Sixers. Soto's pitch to him is fouled back. So now Gates behind in the count 0-2. Gates on pace for 34 home runs and almost 130 RBIs. He had 15 home runs between 2 stops last year, and 10 of those came with the Quakes in 75 games. His career average 254, but he came in hitting nearly 300 this year. He has hit 2 home runs against Inland Empire this year. Darwin Soto spending time with Brian Lentz out on the mound as Gates backs out. 1 out, 1 on, and the Sixers up by 2 runs here in the ninth. Miguel Martinez beginning to loosen up down the line. The outfield is playing Gates the other way toward right. Napoli, a short lead, held at first. Gates hits the ball off the pitcher. Gonzalez unable to stop it. It goes into center. So Mike Napoli will head into third, and the Quakes have runners on the corners. The tying run is at first base. You got a left-hand hitting Greg Porter coming up, so we'll see if Darren Brown wants to make a move. I didn't see when Martinez first got up, so I'm not sure exactly how long he has been throwing. But here's another thing to consider. You got the left-hander Porter at the plate. Believe it or not, he has hit left-handers better than anybody on the team. Granted, he's only had 33 at-bats against him, but he's hit .394 against lefties. All of his power, though, coming against right-handers. Just 2 of his 13 hits against lefties have gone for extra bases. 1 for 4 tonight, and that base hit coming against Bobby Livingston. So first and third, Quakes are not going to go down quietly if they do go down in the ballgame tonight. Pitcher's grounded up along third foul. Napoli at third, Gates out there at first. Sixers will have 15 home games out of 19 to finish the half after tonight. If they can hold on here, they would improve to 18-4 here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. With their 8 runs tonight, they have now scored 55 in their last 7 home games. They were hitting over .370 in the previous 6. They have reached double figures in hits with 12. Looks like we are going to have a runner out there. Runner out at second base. Well, Darren Brown going out to the mound. So I think he was stalling for some time, and now he's going to make a change. So Martinez will indeed be coming in, and while we wait for him to come in, that's Jason Sugden going out to run for Gates. While we wait for him, we are going to take a 2-minute timeout and be back with more from Arrowhead Credit Union Park in just a moment.
Fans, you can see some of baseball's brightest and best future stars up close and personal at this year's California League versus Carolina League All-Star Game, June 29th at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. There will be a pregame skills competition that will include the always popular Home Run Derby. Tickets for this year's All-Star Game are available now. The 66ers can provide you with more information at 909-888-9922 or on the web at ie66ers.com.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street. Variety may be the spice of life, but when it comes to kicking it up a notch, there's only one place that's really turning up the heat, Dairy Queen, and it's only getting hotter with the spicy new flamethrower burger from DQ. It's a juicy all-beef double hamburger topped with pepper jack cheese, crispy jalapeno bacon, and spicy Tabasco-flavored mayo, and put the fire out with a nice cool blizzard treat on the side. For a limited time at participating DQ restaurants, the flamethrower burger from Dairy Queen. DQ something different. Quitting smoking isn't easy. It takes the average smoker several attempts to be successful. Quitting with the right support can make all the difference. With the support of products like Nicorette Gum, Nicoderm CQ Patch, and Commit Lozenge, you have a better chance of success. Nicorette, Nicoderm CQ, and Commit are safe, effective, and FDA approved to help you fight cravings, irritability, and restlessness while you quit. They've helped millions of Americans quit. You can too. Use as directed. Follow dosing schedule. Individual results may vary. Support program improves chances of success.
Martinez working the Porter here in the ninth inning, who hits a chopper to the left side of the infield. Guzman goes across to Hagen, who has to dig it out of the dirt. Nice play by Matt on the other end. So one pitch for out number 2. Right before we had the pitching change, there had been a balk called on Soto. I did not see it because I was looking down at a note. So what had happened on that play is that Napoli scored and Gates moved up, and then they brought in the pinch runner. So it is 8-7, and Jason Sugden is pinch running at second base with 2 outs in the 9th inning. So it's up to Jared Abruzzo, but he is a dangerous customer. Singled in a run in the 7th inning. Martinez, lefty against the switch hitter, and Abruzzo hitting right-handed now. Miguel looks at second and deals, and this is high. Martinez would have 3 saves, and he got one of them in Rancho back on May the 3rd. In 13 games, he has been scored upon in just 3 of them. He has not allowed a hit in his last 3 outings. The 1-0 pitch to Abruzzo. He's out in front, tried to kill the pitch. That'll even the count 1-1. Abruzzo against the Sixers this year, 6 hits in 14 at-bats, including a home run and 3 RBIs. Jared hitting .282 when the night started. He was a guy who at one time was thought to be the catcher of the future for the Angels. Was in the Cal League in the past with Rancho. Struggled. In fact, they ended up sending him down a level last year after spending the previous year and a half with the Quakes. He's out in front of a change, doesn't get it, 1-2. Mike Socha had to talk to Abruzzo and tell him, you know, probably in the long run getting sent down when he was talking to him last year is going to help you, and that kind of helped Abruzzo keep his head up. Meanwhile, Jeff Mathis has kind of passed him on the map as far as the Angel catcher of the future. 1-2, tying run at second, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, just inside with a fastball, not by much. 2-2. Well, Martinez thought he had him set up after throwing him the off-speed stuff. He tried to buzz him in and didn't miss by much. Abruzzo, when he was with the Quakes 2 years ago, clubbed 16 home runs, a career high at 13 last year. And he takes a curveball outside and low to run the count full, 3-2. Jared, 6 hits over his last 34 at-bats, but 2 of them have left the yard. He had 2 hits last night, and tonight 1 for 4 with a ribby. Outfield, a little bit toward right. Martinez ready with the 3-2 pitch, and Abruzzo takes very high. So Miguel loses Abruzzo. That means the go-ahead run is on base. And now you've got the catcher Ryan Buddy, who has a 2-run single tonight. Buddy hit into a 6-4-3 double play his last at-bat. Ryan hitting .245, over .270 on the road. He's had 4 of his 5 home runs on the road. 13 of his 16 RBIs have come in his road games. Timeout, a ball getting loose behind the plate. Rancho with a couple of guys down in their bullpen in case they should take the lead or at least tie it. The Sixers trying to hold on to an 8-7 lead in a very wild opener of a 4-game series. Martinez stares back at second. Pitch home to Buddy. That's down the pipe for a strike, 0-1. Ryan, who was with the Quakes most of 2002 and the latter part of last year. He was sent down from Double-A in August last year. So he is no stranger to the Cal League. Martinez, strike 1 pitch to Ryan, is outside. Lentz snapping one down to first, too late, though. 1 ball and 1 strike. Buddy Nolan, at least from what I've read in the past, Nolan has a pretty good defensive catcher. Based on the running game going into play tonight, Buddy had thrown out just 10 out of 55. 1-1 pitch from Martinez is line foul down the first base line by maybe a foot. Oh, that was so close. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wow, not a big crowd tonight. Partly because of the holiday. I think some people also decided to stay home and watch the Laker game, but those who did show up have seen themselves quite a wild affair. And this thing, tooth and nail, right down to the end. 1-2 to Buddy. Runners at first and second. Sixers with an 8-7 ninth inning lead. Need to win or they fall out of first. Martinez looks at second and deals. And it's swung on, bloop to second. It's actually going to be Hagen who comes in to get it, and the ball game is over. So the Quakes get a run in the ninth and wind up stranding 2. Sixers take the opener of the series 8-7. We'll have the totals for you in a moment.
At Loma Linda University Children's Hospital, they're totally committed to providing your child with the most advanced care available. They're the only children's hospital in the Inland Empire. From cuts and broken bones to cardiac care and transplants, the medical staff at Loma Linda University Children's Hospital attends to each child with love, concern, and personal attention. More information is at 800-825-KIDS. Loma Linda University Children's Hospital.
Are you serious about your career? ITT Technical Institute in San Bernardino offers technology and business education for today's workplace with associate and bachelor's degrees in 4 schools of study. ITT Tech has many different class schedules with hands-on learning and applied knowledge. Financial aid is also available for those who qualify. ITT Tech in San Bernardino is located on Briar Drive. More information on your new career is at 800-888-3801. ITT Tech and education for the future.
Hi, I'm Lisa McCree, the new host of California Connected. This season, we have a brand new radio program.
You had hardcore conservative Republicans and extremist liberal Democrats, all of whom said, what can we do to help?
We'll be looking for solutions and taking action.
What is the California we want to give to our children?
California Connected. What state are you in? That's California Connected, Saturday at noon on KBCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
6 of the last 7 Inland Empire games have either been 1- or 2-run decisions. They win the opener of this 4-game series, the first San Bernardino meeting between the Quakes and the Sixers, and Inland Empire blowing an early lead and then coming from behind, hold on to win 8-7 tonight. 8 runs on 12 hits, 1 error for the Sixers. That is their first error in 3 games. And for the Quakes, 7 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Darwin Soto, the winning pitcher, so he is now 1-1. And Cliff Smith, the loser, is 0-1. Martinez picks up the save. That would be his team-leading 4th of the year. So Inland Empire has now won 3 in a row, and that comes on the heels of a stretch in which they had lost 4 out of 5. They are 31-21. Lancaster already won today, so that means the Sixers remain a half game up in the South Division. The Jethawks, by the way, have won 6 in a row. And the Quakes, after sweeping the Storm at home over the weekend, dropped to 23-27. They are 10-17 on the road. The 66ers are now 18-4 at home. So even though the pitching staff has taken some lumps in the last few days, the Sixers picking a pretty good time for the bats to come around after a week-long slump, and they have been able to basically outslug the opposition in the last 3 games here. They beat the Mavericks 8-7 on Saturday, held on to win a wild 12-9 game last night, and they beat the Quakes 8-7 here tonight. Don't forget, Tim Salmon is supposed to begin a rehab assignment with Rancho tomorrow, so a chance for you to come out and see the longtime Angel up close and personal, and at a fraction of what it would cost you to go to the Big League Park. Game time tomorrow will be at 7-11, and we'll be on the air, KBCR, and the internet, sportsjuice.com, beginning at 7. Right-hander Phil Wilson, a 2-4 record and a 7.79 ERA, going up against Felix Hernandez, coming off what he said was his best outing of the year, and that's when he picked up the win in Lake Elsinore the other night on that combined 2-hitter. Felix 5-2 and an ERA of 3.19. Once again, the final score, Inland Empire 8, Rancho Cucamonga 7, and now we invite you to stay tuned for the post-game show coming right up.
You've been listening to Inland Empire 66ers baseball on KBCR. Today's game has been made possible by Loma Linda University Children's Hospital, the only children's hospital in the Inland Empire. By Toyota of Redlands on West Redlands Boulevard and on the web at toyotaofredlands.com. By Omnitrans, be smart, be safe. by Community Hospital of San Bernardino, and by Center Chevrolet, family-owned and operated in San Bernardino. Don't go away. The 66ers postgame report is coming right up.
Fans, you can see some of baseball's brightest and best future stars up close and personal at this year's California League versus Carolina League All-Star Game, June 29th at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. There will be a pregame skills competition that will include the always popular Home Run Derby. Tickets for this year's All-Star Game are available now. The 66ers can provide you with more information at 909-888-9922 or on the web at ie66ers.com. Omnitrans is working hard to provide the public with a level of service that's bigger and better. A listing of their system-wide improvements is in your bus book if you're a current Omnitrans rider or on their website. Omnitrans operates the nation's first gasoline-electric hybrid buses and over 100 buses powered by clean natural gas 7 days a week. Omnitrans will get you to work, school, or wherever life takes you with improved routes and better service. More information is at 800-966-6428 or on the web at omnitrans.org. Be smart, be safe, Omnitrans. A recent survey showed more people in San Bernardino County prefer the SBC Smart Yellow Pages. For shopping information, SBC Smart Yellow Pages is the most used Yellow Pages around. The SBC Smart Yellow Pages.
It's time for the 66ers postgame report on KVCR, featuring interviews, game highlights, and a complete rundown of the scoreboard. Now let's head back out to the ballpark.
Well, how's this for the best pitcher's park in the California League? In the last 3 games, the opposition has had 43 hits, 23 runs against Inland Empire pitching, while the Sixers have had 47 hits and 28 runs. So we have had 51 runs combined in 3 games here. The average number of runs per game going into Saturday night's contest against the High Desert Mavericks was actually, I'll figure it out for you right now, total about 8.7 a game. So that hasn't been the case. This place has played more like the Hangar or Maverick Stadium in the last few days here. And the Sixers hold on and get a 1-run victory, 8-7. John Nelson, the big home run to put the Sixers ahead, but a guy who had a nice game, and considering he doesn't get many opportunities to play, catcher Brian Lentz, who had not played in a game since May the 20th. Well, he responded tonight by hitting his first home run of the year. He also had a single that started that 4-run rally in the 7th inning as he came in to score the first of the 4 runs. Wound up going 2 for 4 tonight. Brian is our post-game guest. We'll go down and meet him along with Wags.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Brian, 2 for 4 today. With your limited at-bats this year, your average probably shot up about 30 points today. What did you see on that pitch that you hit over the left field fence?
Behind in the count, 2 strikes on me, and you threw a curveball that broke back over the plate. When you get 2 strikes, you're just looking to see the ball and try to put it in play, and that was a pitch that just came right back to me, and got good wood on it, got a little lift on it, and it made it out of the ballpark.
It's been a while since you've been in the ball game. What's it like having to sit there? How do you stay focused? How do you stay ready to play every day?
I don't know if there's an answer to that. I think a lot of days you come to the park and you're not ready to play, unfortunately. But, all you can do is when they start that game and you got some responsibilities around the field, picking up people and warming up people in the bullpen, you just try to do everything you can as professionally as you can. And, nights you get to play, you look at cashing on those opportunities. But, I think I've all summer long just tried to come out here and be part of this team and pull for everybody and do what I can to help us win.
Baseball's a weird sport sometime. Obviously, you were warming up the guy in the bullpen today. The last couple of nights relegated to exchanging the lineup card with Mel Queen. How did that come about?
I think Brownie was lazy one day and sent me out there. We got the win, so some sort of good luck charm, I guess. So right now I'm 2-0, so I'll probably be doing it again.
All right. Any way you can help the team win, I guess, is good, Brian.
That's true.
Thanks a lot.
Not a problem. Have a good night.
Brian Lentz, back to you, Six.
All right, so the Sixers with 12 hits tonight, and this is a team that prior to Saturday had scored 8 runs and hit 217 in 5 games, and now all of a sudden you can't keep them off the bases. They win a squeaker over the Quakes tonight. They've now won 9 of 11 one-run games at home, and they are 14-12 this year in games decided by 1 or 2 runs. We'll take a timeout, come back to recap tonight's game, and play a couple of highlights for you when we continue with more in just a moment.
As California continues to grow, so does the important underground infrastructure. Just about anywhere you dig, there could be an underground facility lying in wait. How do you avoid hitting them? The easy way, the legal way, is Dig Alert. It's the one-call notification center that supports all of Southern California. It's a simple process to help and avoid the costly errors of cutting fiber optic cables to the hazard of damaging power lines or gas pipes. For more information before you dig, 1-800-227-2600.
I'm Scott Schaefer, host of the California Report, and I hope you'll join me for our next program. The Golden State often takes center stage in politics, policy, and culture. Each day, our journalists in Sacramento, San Francisco, the Central Valley, and Southern California report and analyze the news. So please join us for the California Report weekday mornings at 6:50 here on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.
Well, tonight the Sixers faced a guy they have not seen before, left-hander Micah Posey, who was 6-0 with a low ERA in the Midwest League, called up and making his Quakes debut. Gene Toledo, one of the regular starters, put on the DL with a blister problem the other day. The Quakes had used only 5 starters up until this point. Posey touched for a couple of runs in the first inning, and perhaps part of it just some nerves, some first-game jitters, moving up in a new league. That's certainly not uncommon. He walked Guzman, the second man he faced, and then Gary Harris got a double to center. Nelson, though, hit back to the box, so it looked like he might get out of the inning, but Peachy Ballett was able to come through with a big hit. Next pitch on the way to Ballett, ground ball up the middle, into center field. So Guzman scores, here comes Harris. Peachy knocks in 2, and the Sixers take an early lead in the first inning. Well, it stayed 2-0 for a couple of innings. Bobby Livingston coming off an outing against the Storm where he gave up a season-high 5 runs. He had allowed just 1 run in 4 starts at home this year. Pitched out of some 2-out trouble in the first. Got the side in order easily in the second and third, but then got into trouble in the 4th inning and eventually gave up a 2-out, 2-run single to Ryan Buddy, and that tied the game at 2. Rancho went ahead in the 5th inning, and they eventually got the go-ahead run when Eric Ibar, who had reached on a single, scored on a wild pitch. So that made it 3-2 Rancho. However, our post-game guest, Brian Lentz, was the first man up against Micah Posey in the bottom of the 5th.
Okay. He is gone as he slams one into left field. It's got a chance to the wall, and it is out of here. On the home run hill, Brian Lentz with his first home run of the year. The 66ers have tied it up at 3-3.
Well, it didn't stay tied very long, but that's kind of been the way the games have gone here the last couple of nights. Lentz's home run making it 3-3. Rancho, well, actually, let me check the scorecard. No, the Sixers came up with the next run to go ahead. That was in the 6th inning. Nelson, a single and a steal, and he scored on a base hit by Peachy Ballett, who drove in his 3rd run of the game, and that made it 4-3. The Quakes, though, came back and delivered the KO blow to Livingston in the 7th. Number 9 hitter Melgarejo got a base hit, and then with 1 out proceeded to steal second base. Eric Ibar singled to drive in Melgarejo. That tied the game, and then Mike Napoli with his 4th hit of the night to tie a season high, a double to left field, drove in his league-leading 59th run of the year. That's a staggering total, considering we have about, 3 weeks to go in the first half. That was the last batter that Livingston faced. Darwin Soto came in, and he walked David Gates to put 2 on. Greg Porter climbed in and wound up reaching on an error by Juan Gonzalez. And then Jared Abruzzo came up with an RBI single. So it was a 3-run 7th inning for the Quakes. Ryan Buddy hit into a double play to end the frame. Rancho, though, taking a 6-4 lead. In the Seventh inning, Matt Hagan started it off by striking out, but then Brian Lynch hit a line drive that hit the new pitcher Cliff Smith in the back. Fortunately, Smith was all right, but Lynch starting the rally. Biggest play of the inning was the next batter, Gonzalez. He had a fly ball to right, normally a routine kind of a deep fly ball, but Melgarejo lost it in the twilight or perhaps lost it in the lights. Instead of it being caught for the second out of the inning, it dropped and went for a double. That was big because then Guzman came up and grounded out to drive in Lynch, but that would have been the final out of the inning. Well, Smith proceeded to walk Gary Harris, and so at that point, Bobby Meacham went to the bullpen with the Quakes still nursing the lead. He brought in right-hander James Carroll. John Nelson was the first man that Carroll faced with 2 runners aboard. The next pitch to Nelson. Breaking ball is hammered into left field. Gates going back, looks up. Nelson has just hit it out. So John Nelson hitting his 5th home run of the year gives him 27 RBIs, and he has knocked in 13 in his last 10 games and 23 in his last 25 games. Sixers got a couple more runners, but no more runs in the inning. The Quakes went down in order in the 8th inning and then made some noise in the 9th. Napoli with 1 out hit by a pitch, and then David Gates followed with a single that just got by Juan Gonzalez. So the Quakes had runners on the corners. A moment later, a balk was called on Soto, which allowed Napoli to score. Gates took second. He was the tying run. At that point, Bobby Meacham brought in a pinch runner, Jason Sugden. Miguel Martinez brought in from the bullpen to face left-hand hitting Greg Porter, who was hitting .394 against left-handers. He wound up bouncing out to third, and because the ball was hit in front of the runner, Sugden had to hold on at second. Jared Abruzzo fell behind in the count, but wound up working a walk to extend the drama at least one more batter. Ryan Buddy came up, got behind in the count, and then hit a little infield pop-up that was caught by Matt Hagan, and the Sixers held on to win another close one. They have become the kings of close games, on pace to play in 50-some-odd one-run games this year at the rate they're going. They beat the Quakes by an 8-7 final. 8 runs, a dozen hits, and 1 error for Inland Empire. The 1 error charged to Gonzalez, just his 9th of the year. And, in fact, the Sixers had gone back-to-back games without an error, which was the first time since they went a season-high 5 straight, May 9th through the 13th, without making a miscue. The Quakes, 7 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Darwin Soto, the winner, is 1-1. Miguel Martinez saved number 4. That would be the most on the team. And Cliff Smith winds up the loser in his 2004 Rancho debut. He is obviously 0-1. 1,239 the paid attendance in a game that took 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete. So the Sixers now 11 games over 500. That would match their high water mark, 31-20. They have won 18 of their 22 games at home. And the Quakes are now 23-27. Rancho had swept Elsinore, and we're trying to win 4 straight for the second time this year. They are now 7.5 games behind Inland Empire, 10-17 out on the road. And as far as the head-to-head series goes, the Sixers have now won 5 of the 8 games against Rancho. And in those 8 games, they have had 4 decided by 1 or 2 runs. We'll take a timeout. Wags will step in to give you your out-of-town report when we continue in a moment.
You know, baseball players aren't the only people who rely on a good night's sleep to maintain peak performance. We all do. That's why the right mattress is vital when you're shopping for a new bed. Banner Mattress has sold nearly 2 million mattresses since it opened in 1926. Why have so many people relied on Banner Mattress? Because they still make their own beds using old-world craftsmanship that was the philosophy of the company's founder. Banner Mattress has 3 San Bernardino locations on South E Street, Hospitality Lane, and South I Street.
What does democracy sound like? It's the cry of a baby whose grandmother resists being tested for drugs. It's the chatter in a police cruiser where a cop reaches for his Miranda card. It's a tree falling in the woods as advocates debate the future of the forest. I'm Margot Adler, host of NPR's Justice Talking. Tune in to the sounds of democracy.
Sunday afternoon at 2 on KVCR San Bernardino.
Back here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park in San Bernardino as the 66ers win an 8-7 squeaker over the Quakes of Rancho, Cucamonga. Let's check the out-of-town scoreboard. We'll start right here in the California League. Stockton, 8-3 winners over San Jose. That game played at the home of the Giants today. Stockton with 8 runs on 9 hits. San Jose 3 runs on 7 hits. Stockton scored 2 runs in 4 separate innings in that ballgame to account for their 8 runs. San Jose got all 3 of theirs when they played at 3 runs in the 7th inning. Littleton the winner, Treadway the loser. Home runs by Arias, Sinisi, and Fox in that ballgame. That's number 7 for Adam Fox. Final score in this game really means something for the Inland Empire 66ers as the Lancaster Jethawks defeat the Lake Elsinore Storm at the Diamond in Elsinore by a final score of 5-3 in a game that saw each team commit 3 errors. The Jethawks pounded out 11 hits compared with the Storm's 6. The Jethawks were down 2-0 after 6. They get 4 in the top of the 7th. Lake Elsinore pulled within 1 at 4-3 at the end of 7. But the Jethawks got another run in the top of the 8th, and they wind up winning it 5-3. Watson the winner. He's at 4-0. Kevin Beavers the loser at 0-2. Justin Wexler picks up his first save of the year. Home run for Lancaster from Danny Richard. That's number 2. Lake Elsinore pounded 2 over the fence. One by Michael Johnson. That's his 8th. And the first home run of the year for Justin Smyers, who was recently added to the Storm. Last check in Bakersfield, the Visalia Oaks leading the Blaze 2-0 in the top of the 4th inning. The Oaks get both of their runs in the top of the 2nd. 4 hits for Visalia, 3 for Bakersfield. Again, the Oaks 2 and the Blaze nothing. So here's how it looks right now in the South Division. Inland Empire on top still at 31-20. A half game on top of Lancaster now at 30-20. Lake Elsinore drops to 26-24. They are now 4.5 games behind the Inland Empire in 3rd place. Rancho with the loss now shows a 23-27 record. They're 7.5 back of the 66ers. And High Desert was idle today. They remain at 20-31 and are now a full 11 games behind Inland Empire in the South Division. The final score here tonight is 66ers 8 and the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes 7. Let's check the American League scoreboard tonight. The Seattle Mariners, the parent club of the 66ers, leading the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2. That game in the top of the 8th inning in Seattle at Safeco Field. The Mariners with 9 hits, the Blue Jays with 7. A home run for Vernon Wells, his 6th of the year for the Blue Jays. The Tigers are 8-4 winners over the Royals. 14 hits in the ballgame for the Tigers. Harvey the winner, Knott's the winner, made the loser. Harvey home run number 7. Carlos Guillen had a home run in that ballgame, his 5th. 2 from Munson. Infante also went long. Actually, Guillen he had 2 home runs in that ballgame, and Munson also had 2 home runs for Detroit in that affair. Baltimore 13-4 winners over the Red Sox. 16 hits for the Orioles. They parlay the 7-run 6th inning into a victory tonight at Fenway. Lopez the winner, Lowe the loser. Derek Lowe now at 4-5. B.J. Surhoff home run number 2 in that one. Kevin Millar went deep for the Red Sox in the loss, his 3rd round tripper of the season. Other American League game, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays with a road victory over the Minnesota Twins 7-3. Tampa Bay with 8 hits to the Twins 4. Bell the winner. Fred McGriff had his first home run since joining the D-Rays. Martinez also goes deep, as does Henry Blanco. Top of the 9th inning, the San Francisco Giants leading the Diamondbacks of Arizona 5-2. That game played in Arizona. The Giants are batting in the top of the 9th, nobody out, leading 5-2. Barry Bonds with home run number 14. Michael Tucker, round tripper number 4. Top of the 9th inning, the Rockies leading the Padres at last check 4-1. The Rockies batting in the top of the 9th inning at Petco Park. The Mets defeat the Phillies this afternoon 5-3 and double them up in hits at 10-5. Moreno the winner, his first of the year, he's at 1-1. Myers takes a loss at 3-3. Benny Looper saved number 8. Phillips and Burrow with home runs in that victory for the Mets today. The Braves 8-2 winners over the Expos, a 6-run 7th inning for the Braves that opened up the door to victory. 8 runs in the ball game for the Braves. They also had 8 hits. Ortiz a winner, now at 6-4 for Russ Ortiz. Levon Hernandez a loser at 3-5. Home runs for Schneider, Drew, and green. Cubbies 3-1 winners at Wrigley Field over the Houston Astros. 21 hits in the ball game for the two teams, despite only 4 runners crossing the plate. Greg Maddux picks up the win. He's at 4-4. Roy Oswalt takes the loss at 3-4. Lance Berkman in the loss for the Astros hits home run number 14. Moises Alou with his 13th round tripper of the year in the victory for the Cubbies. The Reds with a 9-7 win in Miami over the Marlins, even though they were out hit 14-10, and despite committing 3 errors, the Reds somehow still pull away with the victory. They scored 3 runs apiece in the 3rd and 7th innings, scored in 4 different frames in that ball game, and overcame a 5-0 deficit to win. Riedling the winner. He's a perfect 4-0. Wayne the loser 3-2. Danny Graves save number 24. 2 home runs for Sean Casey. He now has 9. Ken Griffey also went deep. 13 for him this year. Barry Larkin with his 3rd ding-dong. The Dodgers 3-2 winners over the Milwaukee Brewers. That was in 10 innings at Dodger Stadium. Gagne picks up the win in relief. He's 2-0. Dave Berber the loss 3-1. Again, the Dodgers with a 3-2 victory in 10 innings. L.A. scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to tie it up at 2 apiece and get the winning run across in the 10th inning. Final score from Pittsburgh, the Cardinals over the Pirates 8-3. Combined 23 hits in that ball game. St. Louis scored in 4 different innings, including a 4-run third. Marquise the winner at 4-4. Chris Benson takes the loss. He also shows a 4-4 mark. Home runs from Scott Rowland and Tony Womack. Craig Wilson also with a round tripper. That's Rowland's 13th and Wilson's 12th of the year. Again, the final score here tonight from Arrowhead Credit Union Park. The Inland Empire 66ers 8 and the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes 7. Mike Sager returns in a moment to wrap things up from San Bernardino.
There's a saying in baseball that to play well, you have to look good from head to toe. That's why all Major League and Minor League Baseball players wear caps made by New Era Cap Company. Behind every New Era flag is a storied past of passion, integrity, and pride. Passion for detail and excellence, integrity that's reflected in a high-quality cap, and pride for the successes and relationships born from passion and integrity. More information on New Era caps can be found at neweracap.com. New Era Cap Company. It's not a cap, it's a flag.
Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries is a proud supporter of 66ers baseball. Lazy Boy has locations in San Bernardino, Riverside, Hemet, and Ontario Mills. Lazy Boy has been a part of America's home since the late 1920s. Lazy Boy's furniture stands the test of time thanks to quality materials, extensive engineering, and rigorous testing. They're committed to building only the quality furniture and back every piece with their word. Lazy Boy. They make rooms that make homes.
Well, tomorrow night, Sixers and Quakes pick up the 4-game series in game number 2. That'll be a regular 7-11 start, and we'll be on the air beginning at 7 o'clock on KVCR 91.9, as well as the internet, sportsjuice.com. It will be right-hander Phil Wilson, 2-4 on the hill for the Quakes, a 7.79 ERA, and he'll go against Felix Hernandez, who pitched a whale of a game in Lake Elsinore last week. And Felix, a record of 5-2, a 3.19 earned run average, and he'll have a chance to tie for the league lead in victories, as Livingston was up there tied for the league lead going in tonight, trying to win his 7th, but winds up still stuck at 6, so Felix will have a chance to win his 6th here tomorrow night. Tim Salmon's supposed to begin a rehab assignment for the Angels with the Quakes starting tomorrow. So there's a pretty good reason to come out to the ballpark. We don't know anything else as far as how long he's going to be with the team or how many games, but we do know that he is supposed to be here tomorrow night. So until then, this is Mike Sager saying so long and wishing you a very good, what's left of Memorial Day. And reminding you again the final score here at Arrowhead Credit Union Park. The 66ers remain a half game up in the South Division, winning a wild, exciting game by beating the Quakes 8-7.
That'll do it for this edition of the 66ers postgame report on KVCR. We sure hope you can join us again for all of the excitement of California League Baseball with your defending league champs, the Inland Empire 66ers.
If you haven't been listening to Fresh Air, you've missed interviews about television with David Chase, creator of The Sopranos, Matt Groening, creator of The Simpsons, Lisa Kudrow of Friends, and Simon Cowell of American Idol. I'm Terry Gross, the host of Fresh Air. Join me for conversations with some of the most interesting people in entertainment and the arts.
Weekday afternoons at 3 on KVCR, San Bernardino, Riverside.